Okay, welcome to session 4 of Traveler Starstruck, the Verdulan Frontier. Now, when we last left the player characters, they had finally landed on the world of Fredeo, not the main world of the Calcaneo system. Calcaneo is, but they disobeyed the general requests and actually aimed their jump at Fredeo instead of Calcaneo. They were intercepted by these, there were these two patrol corvettes in orbit around the planet Fredeo. So not really intercepted, but contacted by radio, and they managed to identify who they were, and they were allowed to land. Now, Fredeo is an ice world. The only settlement of note would have been the Furlabor Ironworks factory, and there's, of course, a rudimentary landing pad in the ice fields at a certain spot. So you were given the spot, or maybe the spot is a matter of public record. You landed. You disembarked from the your cargo ramp or whatever you have, and you found this receiving line here, which consisted of the famed sentient robots of Fredeo, and it was headed by one of them, which is called RUR-12. There we go. Now you see that there are humanoid robots, and there are much larger, less humanoid-looking robots. There's also a line of human soldiers who you know. You met them in space from the patrol corvettes. They are the Verdulan Colonial Marines. Little insignia like this, if you recall, over in the handouts. Let me just go to that one. Yeah. Well, they have an insignia, a double eagle with these letters, these Verdulan letters underneath. So that is the people who greet you. They're standing at a distance from your landing spot. The soldiers form a line with their officers. The robots form a line, and they seem to be waiting. Actually, after a moment, the leader of the robots sort of advances a little bit, something like this. Well, halfway, let's say. The five of you stepped off. The other characters, which would be Astria and Ved, and who's the other one?
Myself.
C, are still on board.
I believe Ved is sitting in a turret at the moment.
In a turret? Okay.
I got a question. Are those soldiers robots or humans?
Humans.
The soldiers are human. They're human in what looks like combat armor. And once again, I can give you the if I go Shift Z on a character. This is what the officers look like. They don't really have soldier gear on them so much. Now they do have cold weather gear on, winter coats. Soldiers are encased in what looks like some sort of combat gear. So here's one. Here's a slightly different one. The tokens have slightly different models. So sort of looking like that with variations.
Cool.
Hope you got that, Steve.
Yep.
Okay, and the robots, though, these are actually tokens from the Star Frontiers game, so they more or less fit the kinds of robots I was looking for. Humanoids type robots built for all the jobs a human could do, but the other robots are less humanoid. They do have a head and body, but they have treads instead of legs, and they do seem to have ends of their arms which are adapted, which look like weapons, and you recognize that these might be the heavy lifting or Hell model robots as opposed to the RUR or general universal robots. So they were built on a completely different design with different functions. Off to the side, you see yet a third kind of robot. Looks like that. You don't know about what they are. Looking like that. So how do you proceed? Now I can tell that Captain Wilson Derwatt has a diplomacy skill, but again, skills are not unique to a single character. I think others might have it too. Let me see what the skill grid says. Captain Derwatt, diplomacy 2. Virgil, no, not Virgil. Sorry, Astria actually has diplomacy 0, and then you figure out bonuses. But the bonus for some diplomacy things is social standing. So Wilson has that too. So he ends up being 2 + 2 in diplomacy.
Oh yeah.
So it's about negotiating, politely negotiating things, negotiating peace treaties or other agreements. So it's sort of you might have a chance in political waters, basically. So do you approach the robot first?
Yeah, I'm gonna approach the robot first. I'll offer out
All
my
right.
hand. I'll go. Yes, I am Captain Wilson Durlat. This is my crew. Nice to meet you. Do you want me to make a roll?
The kind of role, well, it's I think sort of a not really totally necessary, but a diplomacy role might be good here. In your modifiers, give it -1 because you probably want to try to address him in Verdulan. Give a slight
Oh yeah, I can
language
try.
drop off because of that, but still
Bad.
very good. Very, very good. The 4, so that's a 2 + 2, skill level 2 + 2 for your
Social.
social standing modifier. Okay, so anybody can see that you're of a high social class, or what stands for social class in the Frontier Federation where you came from. So you made a fairly good roll. The robot in turn. Now, all robots look uncannily the same. Like if they were living, they'd be like twin brothers. They'd be totally identical looking, and once again, the artwork is that they sort of look like that. Just some sketch I myself hand drew once. If you click the magnifying glass, you get it full screen. So a very impassive sort of face. You have crystalline sensors for eyes, so it doesn't really give the impression of being a
Love
human eye, but that's their basic aspect. And all the humanoid robots look like that. But this one approaches and he says, I am RUR12, the assigned leader of this planet and commune. I greet you and welcome you to Fredeo. I don't think I could keep up a robot voice or anything, but that's the general idea. And he stops.
Thank you, thank you. We work for is it where is it? We work for Brianna Anderson and the Argosy Dawn shipping, and um we have some spare mechanical parts that you desperately need, as well as some other trinkets you might be interested in for trade.
Yes, you are expected. Uh, However, I am not aware of the trinket you are speaking of.
Well, we thought you could. We weren't aware that you had some help already, so we thought we could give you some stuff that humans like. So when you negotiate with humans in the future, you can um, have some stuff for them, some amenities to keep them happy.
Yes, well, that is to be discussed. We must plan for our needs. So far, we made a miscalculation that we would probably not have to trade much. Our needs are not many, but we found that we were in a need of spare parts to maintain the existence of our colleagues. I would like to take you on a tour of our facilities. Now,
That sounds fantastic. Come on, guys.
Yeah, he motions in a direction which would be somewhere to the northwest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the soldiers in back have not moved, but at the appropriate time, one of these officers comes up as well, somewhat deferentially, and approaches. And let me check. Under NPCs.
They probably have my cutlass on me at the very least.
Now, it's significant that he waited until RUR finished, RUR 12 finished speaking. And this officer has the Verdulan Colonial Marines insignia on him. And he introduces himself. So let me just type up these names in the Roll20 chat while I'm at it for the record. Okay, so the human officer comes forward and he introduces himself. He sort of snaps his heels together and gives a salute, although you may not be a military officer yourself. He says, I am Lieutenant Davido Mercadio, Verdulan Colonial Marines. We have the responsibility for general security and defense of the planet under the commission of the Fredean Presidium, such as it is. And he says we are here to take care of security, but we have been told not to interfere with your financial dealings or your delivery. He just says your delivery.
All right. What do you need from us? No weapons?
Well, we are restrained by the rules that the Fredeans themselves have set up here. If you are, since we are considered in a wilderness area, you may display weapons. The Fredean rules are not very formal about weapons. However, energy weapons are disallowed here because of, well, certain susceptibilities of the Fredean form. And you can display any other kinds of weapons that you have already here. So he describes something which might amount to a law level like about 2 or something like that, where only the most powerful man-portable or energy weapons might be disallowed. They don't like plasma bursts or anything because basically he's implying that they would disrupt the, they would be electromagnetic pulses that could disrupt robots. So saying that, he resumes. Now, I'm going to say that it's a bit of a walking distance in the snow. You all have cold weather gear. but it's a bit of a walking distance northeast to the main facility, which used to be called the Furlabor Iron Works or Foundry. You've heard that they have renamed this this settlement as Rosumo, and it's a robot type settlement. Now as you are walking, the robots are walking side by side with you. They seem to walk a little slower than humans, though, or because they pick up their feet very mechanically back and forth in the snow. They seem to have some kind of snow pads to be able to deal with snow and ice. So they seem to have removable, it looks like removable tiny snowshoes adapted to their feet. The robots on treads don't have to worry about that so much. So fairly slowly, after about a 5-minute walk at their pace, you make it to the main complex, and I'll change the map.
I'm returning to the ship because I'm carrying an energy weapon and they won't let me on the planet with that. So
yeah, let me see where the map would be.
Do they like frisk us or anything? Because Ronnie's got a laser pistol in his coat, but he's not gonna bring attention to it.
Oh boy.
Let me see where the map is.
Doesn't sound like they did.
I've returned to the ship because I'm carrying a laser pistol once upon hearing that no energy weapons allowed. So, but I will.
Ronnie's not planning on using it unless we get attacked by somebody. But he feels naked without it. So, and if they don't frisk us, then he's just gonna not say anything.
Let's see. Okay. I think I'm in big trouble here because I think I may have accidentally erased a little schematic map of the settlement that I had. Now, where is the only thing? Damn.
I think I remember it was like a big circle with maybe 3.
That's right. A circle with
yeah.
I'll have to redraw it, but I want to try to get to continue the game. Actually, let me see now. Is it possible to stop and start the recording, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
I want to.
We're away, yes.
Okay, I found the map after all. Does everybody see that map?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, Virgil said that he had a laser in his possession. He went off to the ship, put it away. You can get some other non-energy weapon if you want. Okay, so this map you can.
Are there weapons on the ship, in the ship's locker?
The ship's locker has only shotguns. Shotguns are often allowable in almost all places except urban areas because you might have to deal with alien wildlife. So there were shotguns in the ship's locker. I even put down their stats. The thing about shotguns is that they're heavy. So I threw in some gyro stabilizers as well, so nobody will have a strength penalty for using a shotgun. Hello, Jen. Hi.
Oh, hi.
Welcome.
Hi.
Okay, we were just starting the game and starting the recording. Basically, I'll flip the map one more time. The players have landed and have been received by a line of robots. There are humanoid-looking robots, and there are other robots on treads. There's a series of soldiers. The head robot introduced himself as RUR-12. And whoops, I'm trying to draw here. It shouldn't draw. The head robot introduced himself as RUR-12. And Wilson Durwat, well, this is an occasion to make a diplomacy roll. Wilson Durwat made an appropriate greeting. The robots say that these people were expected, but Wilson spoke not only about the shipment, but also something about other trinkets. So the robot doesn't know what that means, but he invited you to walk northeast of the very rudimentary landing pad to go to the Iron Foundry facility. There's also an officer, I put the name on Lieutenant Davido Mercadio, who's part of the Verdulan Colonial Marines, but he is in the service of the Verdean government. So he doesn't really do things on his own initiative. You're allowed any weapons that you have on you, except for energy weapons that might, it's possible that they might disrupt the robot. So anything up to energy weapons is allowed here. But Astria was not getting off the ship, if I remember.
No, that's right.
Okay. Okay, so the party takes the robots, the Verdulan Colonial Marines, and the player characters walk for about 5 minutes northwest to go over to the iron factory, and you can probably take it all in if you bring the zoom down to 50 or 60% or something like that. This is it looks like a round building in the center with three rectangular projections from it. There is a tower in the center of the round part, and at the bottom of the projection projecting south, you have a very large area, which is the typical showroom and offices. So this is set up as an automated robot factory. The robots occupy each of the manufacturing lines. In the center of everything is an iron foundry. So iron ore is actually processed here at the foundry. It's turned into pure iron, but then the iron melt is used to feed three different assembly lines, and they all look like very complex assembly lines. Now, first the robots lead you to around this area here. If you see it in a zoom of about 50 or 60%, you're led into the official offices and showroom. RUR says that he would like to show you what your shipment is about, and he takes you to, well, beyond the big reception area of this place. Now, this reception area is sort of modeled like a human corporation. You know, you see all the shiny ornaments and decorations and world globe and everything in the lobby. So the shiny corporate lobby is here, but he goes on to lead you to some escalators around the middle of the area here, where you can
How's the
go up an
furniture in the
escalator.
lobby?
Furniture in the lobby?
Yeah.
Um,
Is it like all broken and run down?
Well, it looks like lounge waiting couches where you wait in a lounge, things like that. It seems to be dusted and maintained,
Okay.
but they don't seem worn or anything. They're pretty much in the same state as they were.
So there's little
Um,
sentient Roombas going around.
yeah. Anything that the robots maintained before, they're probably still maintaining now. So you don't see anything wrong with the furnishings, but it's human consumables that they probably don't have, or they probably ran out of, or any maintenance of human areas might not have been done if there were no humans. But the reception area looks like a typical corporate lobby, shiny glass and marble and that sort of thing, and escalators do lead up to the more conventional office areas. You see the large model robots here and there acting like guards, and they do have weapon-tipped arms on them, and but they don't have any. They're not a particularly menacing presence. They just stand at attention. RUR, the other humanoid robots, the Marines, all lead you to a series of office corridors. And there is one room where you go in, and it looks like a bunch of robots just standing or lying down. And all of these robots are missing something, like a limb or an eye, or they seem to be waiting for something. So RUR says, I suppose humans would call this a hospital. We have to take care of our our non-functional comrades here.
Ronnie just waves at all the robots, says, "Hey, you're
How's it hanging?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Ronnie waves at the robots and just casually says,
He died at the same
Yeah.
spot, man. Huh?
Yeah.
we're delivering their parts,
Yeah.
Huh.
Are you saying this loudly, like to?
Just in a loud, friendly voice, hey, your parts are here.
Are you saying that in Verdulan or in English? Yeah, they started
Yeah.
with you in Verdulan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it in Verdulan then, if that's
Okay. Well, some robots look up who can look up. Others seem very catatonic. You don't get much of an emotional reaction if that's what
poor
you're going
guys.
for.
Even doesn't say anything. He might nod his head and he's polite and just stands behind the captain and everybody else with the group. I'm not saying much of anything. I'm just gonna let the captain take Cap take care of shit.
Yeah. Ronnie doesn't mind the lack of response. He's just happy to see the robots because he thinks they're kind of cool.
The other Colonial Marine officer, like there were two Colonial Marine officers. The other officer, other than Davido, to use their proper names, Lieutenant Mercadillo. The other officer sort of frowns at this outburst from Ronnie, but the robots themselves don't seem to be paying any mind. They'd be very impassive about, like if you did jokes or slang or things like that, the robots might not be able to pick it up, or I might have to make it an education role on their part. And they're all stuck at the same education level, education 5. So it'd be interesting if you, strayed into human expressiveness and they can't follow you.
Yeah.
May lead to interesting situations. But okay, it's just sort of like some sort of disaster scene, like a pathetic hospital scene, but with robots. One robot turns impassively at what Ronnie said, but one of his eye sockets is missing, or its eye sockets is missing. And don't even get me started on assigning genders to robots and pronouns and whatever. It's a hopeless task.
They.
Hopeless.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it 1010110011?
Yeah, well, yeah. The thing with genders in robots is that sometimes there's a 2 that sticks in there, and no
Oh
such thing as
no.
2.
Oh, Bender, there's no such thing.
Yeah, yeah. Expecting a robot to be non-binary, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to write an essay about that.
It's a
Binary
non-binary
by
robot.
definition, aren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
In Robert Heinlein's stories, he imagined ternary computers where there were apparently switches with 3 functional states. So it was unit, pair, and nil, which were the little switches, and people thought in ternary instead of binary. It's science fiction, so
Cool.
crazy things can happen. But okay, so it's a bit of a sad hospital scene, but for mechanical beings. And then RUR leads you out back into the office area, and if you get back to the lobby area, there's somewhat more of the heavy lifting model robots, which are down once you get down the escalators and in the big shiny glass and marble lobby area. He says, we are ready to unload the shipment. My understanding is that your company has already been paid. Do you have any objections to offloading right now?
No, let's get it done.
Okay. So
your people need help, so let's help them.
All right. So if you have the sound pad on, oh, by the way, Jen, there's a link up there to a sound pad. If you can open an extra window, it's just for extra audio effects.
Okay, sure.
So the RUR12 is saying something in his particular language, and the robots are responding. So it sort of sounds like this, and I hope people can catch it. Okay, I hope you heard that.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh,
Let's try this
did you
again.
click the link to get that extra window?
Yeah, I've still had it open.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, how's your? Let me just see who's on. So far, it shows there's only 2 players connected to this page.
I had to refresh it,
Aha.
so I didn't hear it either.
Yeah, I'd like for all 6 or 7 players, whoever's on, to actually be connected. Jerry, there's a link to something called SoundPad. So if you click the tabletop audio pad with the big long code, and if you leave that page open, if there's some kind of volume,
No.
don't
No
hear anything at
volume.
all. Oh,
No.
there should be a connect button. If you click connect,
Yep.
you get connected to it.
Yep. Connected now.
What's that now? Where? I'm sorry, I was distracted.
Further up in the Discord chat, there's a link to something called a sound pad.
Okay, I'm on Discord on my phone for voice, but I'm texting on the computer. So, do I need to do this sound chat thing, or am I okay? Because
It's just for extra sound effects. How about let me see. On the phone, press the link on the phone. I think the phone will just open an extra web page, and you can hear it through your phone. It's this.
I could probably hear. Yeah. It's in the chat.
Yep.
It's in the Discord chat. Yeah, and it should come through in your phone.
General chat.
Yeah, up there, general chat. When I first started the game, about 8:07 today.
Tabletop sound pad. Okay. Confirm.
So click that on your phone, and it's just for extra sound effects as needed.
Okay, it's loading.
Yeah, and you can test the volume and adjust the volume if it's too loud for you. It shouldn't overwhelm me or anybody else talking. So now I see 5 in the sound pad area, and let's see if the sound comes through. So what I was trying to show was that the RUR-12 was addressing the big heavy lifting robots in the Fredean method of communication, and it sounds something like this, and they answered.
See that? I heard that, but mine says connection failed. It's not connecting.
Mine's constantly doing that, and I can't hear a thing.
Yeah, mine's constantly doing that too.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, never mind.
I heard it.
Cool.
Yeah, I heard the
it
end
too,
of it.
although
Yeah, I heard it too, but my thing keeps saying connection failed every time. It keeps trying and trying. It's not connecting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of connect
I think
times
that's
out.
not ready.
Well, when you click
I think
the
it's
link,
not ready
then
for
I
prime
think you
time.
have a button to click that says connect, and then you're just connected to sound. It shouldn't have much of a strain or bandwidth if it's audio.
It keeps disconnecting and reconnecting.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
Not constantly.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
But you know, I heard it. They went bitty bitty bitty.
Tweaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So after a few minutes,
just
this
need Brian to
these
make
robots
the
get
noise.
back to your ship. You're the PCs, so you have to direct them. Now, the heavy lifting robots also speak Verdulan, and they seem to be programmed to understand English commands as well. But you know, they're very rudimentary. It's do this, do that for them. And you're back in your loading bay, and so you've opened the big airlocks of the cargo bay, and so there's a big airlock door sound. The airlock door opens.
There we go. Yep.
And then you get ready with your loading bay. You'll remember that over on your ship, there's like a big central spindle, which is like whatever you call it, a winch or something like that. It's a cargo crane. It's number 8, and apparently it's a way to move around big crates and things. So you have that as part of your ship, and it makes quite a racket when it starts up.
So would that be
So
mechanical?
Captain Derwatt, what's that?
Would that be mechanical, skill mechanical to use it?
Yeah,
Well,
that's beyond
mechanical
my
to maintain
expertise.
it. It doesn't take much skill to actually use it, but it sort of
Okay.
makes big
Well, just
mechanical sounds.
okay, that's cool. Just to facilitate it, they'll radio ahead, and I'll be ready to rock when they get there to start offloading
Okay.
stuff.
I think we better make sure Ved stays out of sight of the robots because they might think he's a relative
Hello.
with his cyber arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're wondering that they might react adversely to Ved's cyberarm?
No, they might react positively to it.
Positively? Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. So Richard isn't here yet anyway, so fine. Okay, so you offload without too much trouble the cargo. Now on your sheet, if we go to the ship sheet here, for the Steppenwolf,
Yep.
you were
5 by
carrying a
40
big
ton.
40 tons of robot parts in standard size crates, many crates per volume ton. Actually, a volume ton is equal to 2 of these squares stacked up to a height of 3 meters or 10 feet, which is the, like a high ceiling height in the building. So 40 tons is equal to 2 squares on the map. Well, a single ton is equal to 2 squares on the map. So if you have crates filling up, a whole section of the map. Okay, so it takes a certain amount of time to offload it. Now I'm just going to make a certain roll under, I'm going to call it a general category of robot misunderstandings. These are big, heavy lift things. To keep your distance from these guys as they are manipulating the crates. It could be just, 3 or 4 crates per ton of this merchandise. Let me just make a EM roll. Okay, pretty good. I'm just checking for mishaps, but there are no problems. The robots do take directions. They just basically have to be shown which are the crates with the robot parts. They take the crates, they offload them. There's some kind of tracked vehicle where they store things, and the vehicle makes a couple of trips back and forth down the road back to the facility. So you have unloaded the crates. Now, the freight was prepaid. The merchandise was prepaid for by the robots. So you're basically getting only salary out of this. And by the way, it's day 34 by now, if you check the calendar. So everybody has gotten paid 1 month's salary on day 30 while in jump. So you should add whatever your monthly salary is to your finances.
Done that.
Okay, so
Sure, I
the
already
shipping
did that.
stuff, yeah. The
Anytime,
shipping
Tomo.
stuff, yeah, the shipping stuff has been concluded. If you make your way back to the facility, and I thought I lost the map, but in fact it's always been here. If you make your way back to the facility, the President RUR-12 greets you again with his impassive robot face. And he says, the leader of our community actually wants to thank you in person. I am to lead you up to her, but because of her location, we can only take 2 of you humans with you. Who would like to go?
Who do you want with us, Captain? With you?
I'm the pilot. I'll stay back, man. I don't want to get caught in any bad spots. I want to be ready to fly out of here.
I'd be interested in meeting a female computer.
Sure, I trust C.
Cool.
C hasn't been up to anything naughty.
Not that you know of.
Okay, so
Money's winning at you.
who is going?
Yeah, but he's
See.
just praying to rocks and sand and shit in the back of the engineering section. I don't know,
There's
man.
nothing wrong with that.
I didn't
See
say
the
that.
right
That's
choice.
out of character.
He has
Yeah,
mechanical stuff too, right?
that's
So
that's
he's
player
gonna
team
cover
player
the
Joe.
stuff I don't know about
Yep.
robots.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna lay low. I'm gonna stay back.
Sweet.
I've checked
Yeah.
the skill list. Actually,
Ronnie wants to go,
robotics
but
is actually. I found that robotics is actually a sub skill of science, and people.
Yeah.
If it's relevant in the skill grid, the people who have any sort of science level skill, well, is actually the medic Astria. She has
Uh-huh.
science 0, so obviously from studying medicine, she's touched on other
Yeah.
sciences.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
And I've
C
got
also has sciences because
Yep.
he's got a wafer, which I think
one bio,
he
one physics,
basically,
and one chemistry.
yeah, it gives a kind
yeah,
of
nice.
encyclopedic knowledge of science without a true engagement. I don't know if he's ever slung a test tube actually, but he's got the wafers for those particular sciences. And Ved has sciences, but Richard isn't here at the moment. Just saying that robotics is a subset or one of the specialties of sciences, but there are many specialties. You probably can't study them all to any depth.
Jen, you want to go talk to a weird robot?
Oh, I want to go, Captain. I've been talking to computers my whole life, and I never got to actually talk with a computer.
Well, there you go.
If you want to record it or broadcast it on camera, everybody can eventually see it live. If you do go through your comms, you can share at least
Ronnie would do
audio.
that.
This is true.
They're just saying that they can only physically take 2 of you, though.
Too.
They're not
Okay, well,
objecting
who's-
to any recording or broadcasting of it.
Okay. Well, who's up?
Oh,
I
I
reached
think
my
the
bit.
cap. They
so
recruited me. So I guess me and C, unless Jen wants to take over.
You guys can go. I'll
it's
hang
between
back.
C and Astria. What's the final decision?
All right, C's hanging back, or Astria's hanging back, so I'll take C.
Yeah.
Okay, not a big deal because you can turn on a little camera in your collar or whatever, and everybody can see what you're seeing. Just do a broadcast. The robots don't object to that. Now, what they do is they RUR-12 and one of the heavy lifting robots as escort leads you and C along the map. Where I'm just getting back to where the map was. Oh, that's where it is. Okay. So if you view this in about like 60 or 70 or 80% zoom, something like that, they're leading you across the area into the offices area, but then you go into a more mechanical, you open a door and you go into a more mechanical storage area. Now, this is really at the end of an assembly line. And they take you along a side of an assembly line, which is actually working. It's very slowly drawing down, like parts are moving southward on a conveyor belt. And certain robots are machining these parts, metal parts. But then you get to the central circular area here where this assembly line starts to end. And this is where there is a foundry. So you hear big rumbling foundry noises in the center. Now, they no longer go anywhere towards the center, but what they do is they take a kind of staircase, which is along the circular sides, and you see a big iron foundry in the middle, and this staircase leads to a catwalk, which ends up being over the foundry, and you go into an elevator area, and you're going up an elevator. So you apparently from the outside, you did see that there was some kind of tower on the outside. RUR explains something, and he says, our leader is at the top of the tower to best communicate by radio to all robots on the lines at the same time. And the elevator has only space for like 4 or 5 people anyway. And after going up about 30 meters or something like that. It stops and it opens into a kind of well, it's a darkish room. It's a darkish circular room, and you see something in the middle that, if you zoom up to 100% on the map in this center here, uh, you see something which is like an immobile kind of. It's basically a robot that's questionably mobile, and let me just make it
Does it
appear.
look remotely like a mainframe?
It's hidden a
It sort
spot.
of looks like some kind of well, a
Legionator.
very squat, almost. It's like a hemispherical robot on a flat sort of dolly.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 1.5 meters wide, and it looks like this. Let me try to get to it. I'm flipping the layers here. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a robot, and RUR introduces you, and RUR says, Mater Noster, this is Captain Wilson Derwatt, and this is a very dim room with beeping and blinking lights. Oops, and I think I displaced the thing, but it's in the dead center
Mm-hmm.
of a central room off of the elevator that you came up of. So you are there, C is there, and RUR in the guard robot.
So this central unit, is it wired in any way, shape, or form, or is it totally mobile?
Well, currently it does seem to be wired and connected into things.
Okay.
And there's a lot of beeping and booping sort of sounds in the background. Again, I'm trying to use the tabletop sound pad.
Nice.
Nothing coming through.
And Maternoster addresses you
Mm-hmm.
in a sort of, well, there's only a few occasional sounds in this sound effect anyway. Maternoster greets you, and she sort of has some sort of synthesized voice, and she's greeting you in English, as it turns out. And she
Great.
says, in sort of it seems to be a synthesized voice that seems to be affecting a female tone, and says, greetings.
Salutations, I say back.
Sai says this. Okay.
Yeah.
What does Wilson say?
Hello. I'm Captain Wilson Durat. This is my crewmate, Siri. How do you pronounce your name? Cersei?
We've had weeks to practice that.
Ciceri.
Tilke.
Cersei.
Okay.
We dropped off those parts for you. We have some other little knickknacks that you might be interested, including, where is it? Mostly human stuff. So if you want to accommodate more humans, I have furniture, including beds. You might know that humans, they need their rest. So they like to sleep on comfortable beds. We also have food stuff. Humans have to eat, unlike robots. We have life support, so stuff that you can put into an oxygen system so that they can breathe. We also have a little bit of medical supplies to keep them healthy. And then, as you know, not all humans are friendly like us. So we got you some weapons. We did not know quite about what the military strength was, and we see that you guys had some combat robots too. But if you're interested in the weapons, you can look at those too. I was going to show this all to RUR12 and see what he would be interested in purchasing.
Do you mean that you showed these objects previously to RUR-12? You were carrying.
I don't think I had time to because he didn't. He was
No.
busy getting the stuff.
Well, our Matter Noster thinks, and then her synthesized voice intones, and she says, "I will ask RUR-12 to inspect these knickknacks and their nature. You seem to be offering us information about these things. At present, we do collect information. We feel that is our greatest need."
On that subject of information, I'll ask her, how did she come to be a female?
It is merely a choice given the origin of my name.
Okay.
My designation and acronym appeared to indicate something female in some language I do not know.
So you just decided to take on human female types of behavior and stuff.
My designation was decided for me, and my human creators made me a central directing force. They seem to liken it to being a mother of all the robots you see. And so that is the role I seem to have been made for.
Okay. But you seem to be operating outside of those parameters. Or was one of your original parameters to be bartering for equipment?
In consultation with other robots, we have determined what our needs were. We do not eat, we do not consume oxygen or water, but to maintain our existence, we found that we had to replace parts from the company which created us. So for that and for other needs, we have to go on producing iron, much as we did before when we were service robots.
Can I ask one
And we
last
have to
question?
pay for things.
Battery 60%.
Well, my
Yes.
last question is, what's your energy source? What powers you?
Oh, well, she refers to a fusion reactor that is still on the grounds.
Right. Cool. Thank you.
We are also interested in what you are building down there. Can you describe that to us? And are you willing to sell or trade some of it to us?
Well, out of character, what is it you're referring to? Like the iron product?
Yeah, so they were doing like an assembly
of
something.
something. Yeah, I was gonna see if I could make a roll to see if I understood it or anything using mechanics.
Well, her answer is that there are 3 assembly lines. They're continuing the work of processing iron parts. These are not sophisticated manufacturing parts, but they are like feedstocks that could go into further manufacturing. Like iron comes out of the foundry in a molten state. They cool it in molds and ingots. They take the iron out of the molds. They can shape and process the iron. There are areas, there are little maps which are like finishing factories. You can see like in the assembly line or near the end of the assembly line you came through, you saw some details like this floor plan here, for example. big assembly lines split off into sub-assemblies, and then parts, finished parts are gathered and are shipped away, but they have to be, not fine-tuned, but fine machined. So raw shapes come out of the molds, and then they have to be bashed and shaped further on areas like this. So the assembly lines
So once it leaves
branch
the
out. There's
assembly
3
line,
assembly lines.
yeah.
What's that?
When it leaves the assembly line, what are they produced?
I think it counts as iron parts. So
Iron parts,
I think if
okay.
there's something in the Traveler
Rightio, that's cool.
guide for manufactured iron that would have a base price per
Yep.
ton. A ton space of iron is very, very heavy, but your ship doesn't care because it can still jump. And I can figure out a certain cost for that.
Okay. I'm just interested in what they actually are producing. That's all.
Yeah.
They
Well,
really
they
need to
explain that.
diversify. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Paternoster asks if you're interested in making a purchase.
Well, Captain, are we?
It would be.
Let me go back to the other map.
So basic iron parts.
Yeah, basic iron parts. I think they're a bit out of touch because they don't know how to machine the iron currently. Like iron parts come out, it must be machined to certain specifications. Like if they were going into if they were going into railroad ties, for example, some areas that are not totally high tech might still have rail lines. Other things might have magnetic levitation lines where the basic track is not iron anymore. It's just a concrete running track, and the train never touches it. But middle technology worlds might still use, for example, iron ties. So every single iron rail looks exactly like every other previous iron rail. So that's your single part that comes out of one assembly line, or another assembly line might make some other basic iron shape like that.
Mm-hmm. So
it's not totally finished iron products, but some things might serve a finishing purpose.
Okay, so I asked them if they had they ever discovered amounts of silicon on their planet.
Silicon? Well, silicon is fairly common in rocks. It can be extracted if necessary.
Okay.
It's not our line of work.
So what I'm going to do is give them. Crap. I'm going to be pulling out one of my wafers, and I'm going to give them my electronics computer wafer, so they can see circuits and stuff, and perhaps start developing those for a better, because that would serve us better in the long run than iron parts. And they can interface with it if they can.
Out of character, it might be a totally different industry, because an iron foundry deals in raw molded iron. A semiconductor factory has to make
lots of different things, but they've got the basics.
They make
of the
silicon
iron
chips
parts.
based on a complex pattern of lithography and imaging and depositing.
But that's all in the chips,
silicon
so
and all that.
They can look at that. That's just more information. I'm offering them information to diversify.
Yeah, Maternoster whips out one of her big claw-like things, a little scary, but she stops just short of you very, whips very deftly. So it sort of looks like, let's see, like a big claw mark is coming, a big claw arm is coming at you real fast, but she stops deftly right where you're holding the chip, picks it up, twirls it, the claw arm twirls around a bit. She holds it up to one of her sensing photocells, taking an image of it, and she sends it back, and she says, "This seems to be this is exactly what our brains are made of. It's a constituent part.
Part of what my brain's made of."
Yes. It is a curious question. You are suggesting that we can perhaps change our industry to be makers of these chips, just like our makers made them.
If that's your desire.
It would be a lengthy process to change
Change is usually
our
lengthy.
whole line of work.
But you would be diversifying. You would have more ability to trade for more things, more information.
Or you could just keep doing what you're doing. I'm really interested in buying some iron from you.
All right. Well, she makes certain noises as well.
So is she keeping it or is she giving it back?
Sound effect. What's that?
Is she keeping it or giving it back?
There we go.
Oh no, she held out the chip again for you to take back, and she pauses politely.
Oh, okay. Oh well, I'll take it back and I'll slot it back in.
Okay. Now, she says, I will consider that. Now, if you transmit information, I am willing to consider it. We are grateful for any information that you can give us. And then some sort of echoey reverb voice seems to occur as she's speaking, because you hear information. It's like her thoughts seem to trail and create echoes. So it's a strange sound effect that seems to be occurring just in this domed room.
Okay. As long as it's not exterminate, I'm happy.
Yeah. And Maternoster says, we extend our thanks to those who have delivered these spare parts, and will consider any other transactions with you in the future.
Well, good.
Thank you. Do you want
RUR takes this as a sign that what's that?
Yeah.
RUR12 takes this as a sign that she is dismissing you. He wheels around, or the guard wheels around. He turns around and walks back to the elevator and takes you down again, and across the catwalk to the safe outer side of the Iron Foundry room, and back along the line back to the human area. And he says, we have no facilities to greet you, but we wish to speak about certain transactions that we can do. Now we must be reminded if you have any human needs, and we have heard of human needs such as resting, eating, biological relief. We want you to tell us if you need some time on your own for these things.
I'm good right now. Do you want to come aboard our ship and have a look at our trinkets and see if we can trade them for some of your iron?
Yes, that is what Maternoster ordered, and he's willing to come along with you to the ship again. So, a few minutes walking back and forth to the landing pad. And he takes a retinue of 2 heavy lifting robots with him. So it sort of looks just like that. Well, actually, I can just show the tokens naturally. You know how it works. You just drag and drop your name, and let me just get the robots. Yeah, so RUR12 like this. Oops, it's appearing. There we go. Okay, RUR12. And a retinue of 2 guard robots, sort of like this.
So, what are their weapons? Because I'm assuming they're not just guns.
Looks like Stabby
What's
and
that?
Shooty.
Yeah.
Stabby and Shooty. Okay. Hey,
No, I'm
that's
saying
good. I'm
that-
just going to rename. I'm going to rename them on the spot right now.
Oh
Stabby.
boy.
and Shooty.
You don't want to get too close to Stabby.
Ah,
Why not? Well, you remember in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it was two dumb cops called Bang Bang and Shooty. At least they were.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had to wait until the credits to hear that.
yeah.
Bang Bang and Shooty. But they weren't referred to by those names during the actual sound play, audio play. Okay, Stabby and Shooty. There you go.
Cool.
For everybody to see. Better get a good shot of that.
Yep, got it.
And President RUR-12 flanked by them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's willing to come along to your ship like that. Now, back at the ship, I might as well. Oops, how will I be able to transfer them? Let's see. Okay, moving back to the Far Trader. So all 5 of you who came down onto the ship are back on the ship, and what would be a good place to meet? I guess this would have to be the meeting room for all your guests. So coming out of the airlock at number 4, this is where RUR-12 and his
Retinue.
2 guides would have to be. I'll have to rename this one because, let's see. Yeah, I didn't save that, but just call him Shooty.
Cool.
So codename Stabby, codename Shooty. Why not?
Cool.
Okay, whoops, and if I have to press Alt so it won't lock necessarily. Now, they don't use chairs, they can stand. I mean, it's useless for the humanoid robots to sit, they don't need it. They don't get tired in that stance for hours and hours or forever. But Captain Wilson Durwat is there. Do you want to lead RUR-12 into your office specifically? Your office is Area 2 on the map.
I was thinking of taking him into the cargo bay and actually showing him the cargo.
Oh, right. Okay. And I wrote down what you had.
Yeah, I wrote down the prices
what you had
of
offered.
it too. But yeah, they're robots, so I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
How much they're gonna value this stuff.
All right. Now I should touch up. I should touch base with everybody else. If your cargo has been offloaded and all the characters are back on the ship. Let me see. We had Jerry and okay, Captain Wilson Durwat. We had Brogan Riley. We had Ronnie. Ronnie was there. Or no, Ronnie was still on ship.
No, Ronnie was there. Ronnie was
Okay,
outside. Virgil was outside.
Yeah.
I think it was
come back with the other
Ved
days.
and Astria. They haven't met yet.
Yeah, sorry, I still have the map. It was Captain Wilson Durwat, Brogan, Tomo, Ronnie, and Virgil. Okay. If Astria and
Ved.
let me see who else.
I might need
If
Astria
Astria,
to
Ved,
explain the medical supplies.
yeah, Astria, Ved, and who's the 8th one that they may not have met yet?
There's only us 3 that didn't meet in the initial meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, well, C didn't step off the ship originally, but he
No.
went with Wilson later on. Okay, so RUR can be introduced to Astria and to Ved. Okay. If Astria says that she's a medical doctor, RUR shows some interest because RUR says you perform the repair functions to humans much as we have to repair ourselves. That is interesting. If Jen
Yes.
is there.
No, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, RUR is talking to Astria.
Oh. Okay.
Briefly.
All right. Well, that's what I do. I patch people up like you would patch up your electronic buddies.
Yes, it is very strange because there seems to be much more fluid involved if you patch or splice or cut people up. It is strange. I have seen videos.
Yes, we like to keep that on the inside.
Definitely.
Yes. Doesn't work very well on the outside.
We have a
Yeah,
very
it's messy.
inefficient heat exchange system.
Right. Okay, so then Wilson can lead RUR-12 and his retinue, Stabby and Shooty, who stay close out to the cargo bay. And Justin, I think you wrote down the so-called trinkets or knickknacks you were trying to interest the robots in. It was 2 tons of furniture, 2 tons of common consumables, which I guess they would have to have on hand for humans if traders stop here on a frequent basis. Spare weapons bought from this guy Giorgio, the guy who kept saying my friend" on the
Oh, yeah.
this would have been on the asteroid worlds of Araneo, or Giorgio. I think it's hard G in Verdulan, so it's Giorgio. And also samples of medical supplies, which I guess would also have to be some very small volume,
it's all
but
human-y
essential
stuff.
furnishings for humans. Okay, so what do you want to show him first, or let's sort of briefly go through this.
Okay, so Astria's there right away, so let's have her show the medical stuff off.
Oh,
Okay.
who's selling it?
Yep, we're selling it. Well, we're selling this stuff, the samples. Not selling your stuff. We're not selling the big med kit. I suppose we could show them the big med kit, but
No, I'm not going to show them.
but we're
Okay,
not going to show
what is it you show first?
Yeah, what are we showing first?
2 tons of
the
medicines.
medical supply
The
sample.
medical supply? Okay, the medical supply sample.
Okay, and these are things you intend to give to the Fredeans,
Mm-hmm.
but you say that you're basically telling them that they should have these sorts of things on hand for human visitors.
Yep.
That's if
Okay,
they
well,
want to.
okay, RUR-12 sort of looks through these things, and what I'm trying to see what would catch his eyes, and he reads because he can read English. He reads these are bandages. So these are the things that keep the fluids inside, which should stay inside.
Yes.
Yes.
Nailed in one.
Interesting. They are not labeled in Verdulan, but that should not be a problem for us. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You did buy them in Verdulan space.
We did
buy them.
yeah.
Okay, so they'd be suitably labeled, so he could read what they are. But he's probably going to leave their use to the functioning of a human doctor, not unless some robot here gets extensive reprogramming as a robo-medic, which they do not have yet here. So they don't have a robo-medic who can cater to humans. They do have mechanics, which are good enough for their repairs.
Well, I can
All
pop
right,
that
so he
away,
goes
phone,
through
and
the
give it to them.
supplies. He goes through the liquids, the medical supplies. Some of them may have an expiry of some of them have an expiry of less than 10 to 15 years, which might be worrying, but he can arrange a resupply. Eventually, they're going to establish ordinary, normal trade with the communes, but he says that for political reasons, the Furlabor commune keeps seeming to interfere in our ventures and trades, but we will try to trade for the things that we need. Now we have to consider the things that human traders would need if they stop off here. And we'll probably have to design accommodations. Speaking of accommodations, you mentioned furnishings, furniture.
Yes. So I show off the beds. I lay on the bed, all kind of like seductively. I'm like, see it.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable.
Why would
And
what would he
humans
need
have
for
to
comfort?
sit still.
Oh, that's right, humans.
Yep.
Humans have to sit still on these beds for something like 6 to 8 hours a day.
Sort of. The lazy
Yes,
one. Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like recharging.
That
You will
creates some
notice that
chatter
humans
between.
stop working as well the longer that they stay active until they recharge and sleep on the bed.
You hear a lot of R2D2 beeping and twittering from RUR, and the guards seem to respond as he actually seems to be conversing with his guards on a more equal basis than maybe in the past. So those who can hear the sound pad heard that.
Yeah.
But he says it is a difficult concept.
It is.
And you more or less have to do this, and you have a need to do that every day cycle.
Every day, 24 to 48 hours for some.
Yep, she's the doctor.
If you say so. So if traders should stay here overnight, they would have to lie in these beds.
Yes.
Preferably,
we will need
yes.
information about this, but for now we will accept the furnishings, and 2 tons of furniture. I don't know how many beds that would mean, but the number of beds equals the number of rooms they would have to furnish. Therefore, so he says, I see. So number of beds equals number of individual rooms for individual humans.
Yeah.
Okay, it is a
Yes,
simple
unless the humans
equation.
come in pairs, and we don't really need to get into all that. That's complicated.
Oh boy.
Humans come. Not all humans come in pairs.
Not all humans
Oh,
come in
boy.
Come in
pairs, but
triples.
sometimes.
Yeah, some come in triples.
I have to buy a
Quadruples.
bed. It's too complicated. Single bed,
It's
double
getting
bed,
too
queen bed,
complicated,
king
Astria.
size, queen
Yeah.
size.
They're
Go
not
with-
ready for that.
They
Go with
want
the queen
information.
size. Go with the queen size, and you'll be safe.
Yep, that's the answer.
Queen size can take 1 to 4.
All right.
Well, you sound like
Take
you.
beds
There you go.
of all the same size.
No,
I don't know.
but 1 to 4. A big one can take 1. Medium ones 2, maybe 3. Little ones 4 for sure.
Isn't that reverse?
Is Astria saying this out loud? You're going
Yeah.
to confuse the RUR12 about number of humans per bed. So number
going
of
to
humans
say
per
that.
bed varies that much.
Yes.
Okay.
Go with the queen.
Try
Sometimes they don't-
sticking
they
to 1
might-
or 2 per bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the upper
Sometimes they
limit
may want
is.
to pair up.
The upper limit must have been Michael Jackson's family. Holy cow! 16 per
There's
bed.
families. There's families.
Or very poor children in the Appalachians or something, 12 per bed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some number like that
If
from
you have
history.
a family who
Okay.
wants to stay together, they'll use the same bed.
All right. He
I can
agrees
hear the
that.
banjos now. Ba-da-bow-bow-bow-bow-bow-bow-bow.
Oh boy. What are these robots going to have for
Yeah.
company?
Rogan's views
He
are not
accepts
those
that.
officially of the Double Plus Fun group.
No,
Okay, well, you move on to the other things which have to do with common consumables. Those are what? The food,
Yeah.
food, water.
Hmm.
They can easily rig up a water source if they purify water and just feed it with an ice feed from the limitless ice fields around here. That would be easy.
But they'd have to use
There
a
would be
Food, drink,
filtration
and other
process to make sure it's
agricultural
safe.
products.
Oh yeah, so there'd be not just a combination of humans, but potential future agriculture. Interesting. RUR says, well, we can try to plan this, but we were only designed as manufacturing robots. We will have to get again more information about how human colonies actually work. And you notice whenever he says human in Verdulan, well, no, he can even address you in English. It's he seems to pronounce things more distinctly, like a human. When you say human or common words, you normally slur it, but no, he pronounces it very distinctly as human. The pause. Okay, so he looks at common consumables and he accepts it, and then he turns to the very last thing, which has to do with weapons.
Yep. So this might be more of Stabby and Shooty's interest, but these are human weapons. I don't know if you want to tweak these to your own fitting, but as you well know with the Verdulan company, not all humans are friendly, so you might need to defend yourself, which is why the military's here to helping you out. But this is for you personally. Now they are probably the most expensive item here, so
yes, well, we have set up our own government, and the Verdulan Federation has trained our robots in combat. I myself am not built for combat, but they have been suitably programmed for defense. So gradually, with the help of the Verdulan Federation government, we will have enough of a military for our needs. We have no need to police ourselves because we all follow the directives of Mater Noster. But if we expect trouble from outsiders, that is why we might need a standing army. We are again gathering information about this and getting assistance from the Verdulan government. Your weapons do not seem like standard models, and his eye receptors seem to flash and flicker, which sort of gives the impression of a human flickering their eyelids. And I think maybe somebody should make a roll to see what that means.
He detected that they were illegal.
Well, you don't know. Now, robotics is actually a specialty of science. Who here has at least a science 0 skill?
I've got science 0 skill.
Science 1 in biology, physics, and chemistry.
There you go.
Okay.
No clue.
Possibly the physics. Yeah, I think I'll ask you to just roll a plain 2d6, Steve, because robotics is not one of the specialties that you have, but you default to a base science 0 plus an intellect modifier if you have one.
Sorry, I've just got to check my sheet. I've forgotten what my stat is.
And somebody else here has science 0, which is Ved.
Yeah.
I've got science 0 too. I've got science 0 as well.
You roll for us, Jen. Save me from the robot.
Well, what are we applying to it?
I got a 7.
You just click the science. You just click the science 0 button. So don't roll any science specialty, but just science 0, which will pass for robotics. The reason his eye receptors seem to be changing in brightness and intensity is, well, Steve doesn't get it.
No.
Jen, if you go to your sheet and just click the button science.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a specialty that you have, just regular science 0. If you had specialty, there we go. Okay.
No, it's just me trying it. That's all. I'm just trying it.
Yeah. If you're rolling science 0, still doesn't work.
No, I'm just rolling a 7. That's all.
Oh, that I pressed the wrong thing. Okay, that's why.
Just the
Okay. Oh, is there? Oh, the
If you
modifier
go to the
thing.
signs tab of your sheet, there we go.
Yeah, I found
Okay.
it. Okay.
cool.
That's a little better. Okay, and I think you're going. I guess you're going just with from native intelligence ability. That's giving you that's where the +2 comes from.
Yeah, I have an
Okay.
intelligence.
So your roll is 9. Your effect, if that matters, is 1. When a robot's eye receptors flicker like that, it's often that they're trying to compare things one by one very quickly in their database. And you notice this for a second or two, and then RUR turns to Wilson, and his silvery face points to Wilson, and he says, "These do not look like standard military issue weapons. Where did you get them?"
We got you good stuff.
You brought. Okay. You brought what?
Come on, Wilson.
I bought weapons.
Good ones.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Did you get?
Not
where
the
did you
military crap, the good stuff.
And where did you get the good stuff?
Yeah, Wilson, where'd you get it?
Oh,
we acquired it.
Giorgio.
Yeah, but where?
We have a friend named Giorgio.
Yeah.
So why is he
Giorgio?
twitching? Why is he twitching? So
His-
Who's twitching?
He's picking up
His
something.
eyes,
You see the
his
twitch?
pho-
Do you see the twitch in
He
his
knows
face?
they're. He
Which?
knows they
It's
weren't
fine.
military.
It's just a robot thing.
Yeah, he's cool.
Oh yeah, because robots trust
How?
humans right now.
Yeah, how?
I think the robots are muttering
Well,
amongst themselves, and if you hear the sound pad,
Oh
they're
my
muttering.
god.
They're
Oh, they're
muttering,
muttering.
muttering.
Oh, I might not be interested in the guns.
well,
Well, they say these are unusual,
good
and
one.
he asks one of the heavy lift robots to hold out his arm, and he says, we took weapons from the Verdulan colonial marines, which were assigned to us, and we fitted them to the robot, and from then on the robot has a security function. But when I compare the barrel of this gun to the barrel of your guns, your barrels appear to be, well, less machine made, almost as if they were made individually by hand on some hand turned iron lathe. This looks like individual finishing work. It does not look like a mass produced weapon.
Yeah,
Very
master
strange.
craftsmanship.
Very strange.
Yeah.
We will take the weapon as it is outwardly very similar, but we are just curious about the source.
Well,
Yeah. Craftsmanship.
Okay, so his he leaves it at that. RUR doesn't say anything more, and he says, "Well, we accept these things, and we will incorporate the non-standard weapons into our defense as we train and equip more robots for defense." Now we can talk also about getting more of these things, but we will have to consider our needs. Let me see now. Okay, out of game. Let me see. Out of play. And I think we will transport these things. If you accompany us to the ironworks, we can discuss finished iron parts to trade. And I'll have a quick look at the trade book, the trading chart in the rule book, I mean, for how much per ton the iron parts would be here, because they're not finished manufactured goods, and they're
Or are they
not
more
raw
like
iron
common
either.
raw materials? So like
Yeah,
5,000 a ton.
metal, plastic. Yeah, but they're not raw metal. They have been worked up a little bit and have some finishing. So I'm trying to see. They're not advanced machine parts yet. Let me see.
So there's common and then there's industrial goods, or
Yeah,
common
yeah.
manufactured goods, common
And a
industrial
ton
goods.
is a huge volume of 13.5 cubic meters of iron parts and things packed away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you maybe an intermediate price between common raw materials. So when they work up the iron into basic shapes, it probably fetches a base of 20,000 per ton. Okay, but the question is how much they have on hand that they can sell now and whether you can find a buyer for it. But they are shapes that you'd find in very many standard Verdulan applications like railroad ties, bars for reinforced concrete supports of buildings and skyscrapers and things like that. But very advanced high-tech worlds have other materials for these purposes. Like space metals that can only be made in zero gravity. Those things support the really huge, tall skyscraper buildings and the advanced high-tech worlds. But for functional tech level 7 to tech level 10 construction, these iron I-beams here are sufficient. And the base price I'm going to say is 20,000 per ton. So it falls under common manufactured goods. Or sorry, not it is common metal manufactured metal, let's say. So I'm going to create a slightly different category, 20,000 credits per ton. So if you want to buy iron parts, call it manufactured metal. It's a base price of 20,000 per ton. Now your starship hold is empty now. You have all 63 tons to work with. What do you plan to do?
So how much? So they're buying all our stuff. So how much are they buying that for, roughly, that we can just transfer into metal?
Oh, this is it. The stuff that you carried in, like the.
So I'm thinking the furniture, the consumables, the weapons, and the medical supplies.
And the
How
life
much
support.
tonnage can we get from that just alone? And then I don't know if they want to take credits or a
So you want to
euros.
trade these the 2 tons of furniture, 2 tons of common consumables. You want to trade them for an equivalent amount of iron. You're offering them a trade.
Yep.
Okay, well they say they can use this as a basis, but for the human consumables, furniture, and medical supplies, they'll have to figure out and work up some sort of accommodations for humans based on what their future needs would be. It is a tricky calculation, he says. Spare weapons they will accept, although they're not standard. Based on the things that you paid for them, let's see.
That's not quite
Yeah,
even 20. But that's okay.
12,
I'm a
14,
broker. I can sell it. I can
18,
sell
8.
it to these robots.
Your total price was 18,800 credits to buy these things, but you can try to upsell.
Yep.
Let me see. Well, 20,000 credits would get you exactly 1 ton, which is a large volume of iron parts. Yeah, so I'm sort of imagining a 13.5 cubic meter space. But that buys you precisely 1 ton of these call it manufactured iron parts. Do you want to buy more tonnage than that?
Probably.
Now, on hand from their hundreds of robot workers and the size of their factory, I'm going to give them like a 2D times 10 ton, which is available, but they don't worry about splitting lots of iron or anything like that. Oh, it doesn't work that way. Let me see what happened. I used the wrong. I think I used an X for multiplication, which I shouldn't have used. If I get this, that's more reasonable. There we go. So they have 50 tons of iron parts available from their, huge assembly lines and stored away. And they're using this to sell, but they may not be the best brokers in the world. They may not be getting the best prices for these things from the Verdulans. And they mentioned there's some interference from the Furlabor commune. The Furlabor themselves are still manufacturing iron parts somewhere else, just like they are. So maybe the market is not so strong unless they change what kind of iron parts they're making. But they have 50 tons of the iron parts here available. You believe the base price is 20,000 tons. So how much do you want to buy? Like, you have a certain amount of cash from the profits so far, but you might only be able to buy a couple of tons of the iron parts. So this is pretty
Did we
much,
see how much
Justin,
we
this is
can
pretty much.
haggle it for? Do you want me to roll 3d6 plus my skills?
Okay, you can do that. Let me see. So if we do it by the book very quickly, now I'm going to have to give a thumbnail decision because this is for Deo. Manufacturing is what they do here. Let's see. What's going on? I lost the screen that I was on. Oh, okay, here it is. Okay. Determining purchase price. Your broker skill, any dice modifier from the purchase dice modifier column, anything from the sale dice modifier column. Oh, so I'm going to have to decide on one of these things. Okay, call it common manufactured goods. Okay, well, this place counts as industrial because that's all they do. So it's a +5.
Fantastic.
They're not a high
What's my
population
skill?
world, which needs it for their own needs. But there is something interesting here. RUR12 himself has a brokering skill. Let me apply that as a modifier.
Ah.
Now, he's apparently working from some sort of programmed concepts, but he is programmed for business.
Oh, that could be bad.
Broker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And then
his
do I
broker
get my
skill is.
stat? Do I get intellect or education or social?
You do, and so does he.
Because he's got
So
such a
his
high
skill level
social.
is 1 plus intellect stat is 1. You can add your brokering skill and your intellect stat as well, but he's going to subtract 2. So
All right, so we even
+5
out.
plus your broker plus your intellect skill, but -2 to everything overall. So roll 3d6 plus 5 plus that plus whatever. And
All right, that's above average.
yeah,
We'll take
14.
it.
And on the chart, that makes, okay, so you're able to buy at 70% of base, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and that means that instead of costing $20,000 per ton, 17% brings it down to 14,000 credits per ton, or you're paying the equivalent in euros, which is what they use, the equivalent. I'm not going to bother converting anymore. Except that raises an interesting question because they don't have a bank available here that can instantly do exchanges, but one way or the other, they'll take care of it. So if you pay them 14,000 per ton, how many tons of these finished manufactured iron products would you buy?
So we got the 1 ton for giving away that stuff. So
Right.
let's buy 4 more tons, and I'm gonna take it out of the company profits first, and then take it out of the ship's funds.
Okay, you got it. 14,000 tons, 4 tons at 14,000 credits makes 14, 20, 56,000. So you got 5 tons overall, and you paid 56,000 for 4 of those tons. And RUR agrees and is about to prepare another line of heavy lifting robots with some sort of big wheeled. Well, they're actually motorized wheeled open top vehicles that can carry the iron parts very slowly down the road. And he's about to arrange all that when suddenly there's a big klaxon and alarm that sounds and reverberates across the whole facility. I'm sorry, if you were all back at the iron factory itself, you hear another sound effect which I'm trying to bring through. Once again, try to click the link and click the connect button so that you can hear it. But those who, I think I just have one player who's connected here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine just keeps connecting and unconnecting. That's all.
Yep, that's me
Okay.
as well.
Okay, that's too bad. And I don't know if it has to do with what server. Do you have some sort of is there some sort of protection or permission that you need to click
No,
somewhere?
it's
Like
just an internet connection
No.
thing, I
it's
think.
just a website that streams audio. That's all it's
Yep.
supposed to
No,
be.
I don't have anything like that. I've listened to audio before. It just
Okay.
comes and goes. That's all.
Yeah. Well, for those who want to hear this, for those who are able to hear the alarm, it sounds like this.
Okay, I hear that.
It
I don't know what it
reverberates
sounds like.
across the whole factory area, the outdoors,
Oh,
indoors,
no.
bounces off metal walls.
Okay, I look around.
Reduce the volume.
Are there doors closing or something? Does it come with that? Where
Well,
are we?
you hear a lot of robot twittering all of a sudden. And it sounds like a big symphony because there's so many types of, well, different types of robots.
Are the
Now
humans
you're kind
invading?
of in the, let me turn off all this. Wow.
Are the humans invading? I'm not surprised.
Well, you have a bit of incomprehension because all the activity starts in this Verdulan language, the twittering, the beeping and twittering. But after a while, RUR stops. Now, I guess you were sort of in the outdoor area again as they were collecting the iron parts from the storage, bringing it out to be rolled down the path to your ship. But the alarm goes off. The robots confer a little bit, and RUR says, "Excuse me, you didn't understand that. There has been a break-in at the tower where Mater Noster is."
Who
The
would be
alarm is
breaking
still
in?
going on. I
Do
just
we
turned
have
off the sound.
permission? Do we have your permission to use energy weapons?
Oh my god, we go straight to the weapons. Who do you think is doing the break-in?
Well, either we've done
If you
something
said
or it's those
I'm
people that don't
calling the
like him.
crew for help.
Okay,
What,
there's
We're
people
gonna
still
I'll get
back
get
back
in
on
the
the
in here
ship.
ship.
and shoot these guys.
okay, why are we going straight to weapons and shooting? She's going to speak to the robotic thing and say, if you are all connected and you don't do things against each other, who do you think could be, breaking in?
We are trying to gather information now. Okay, through all this time, that regular alarm is still going on all through the
Yeah.
complex, all through the factory here. RUR is still conferring in a twittering way with the guards. Now they're all connected by radio or Wi-Fi or something, and then they seem to say that they're trying to get a visual on what's going on. And he says, "Here, I will patch things into a monitor."
Good
And the
idea.
first view you see is something about the internal view of Mater Noster up here in the tower. You remember it was a semi-darkened domed room. She was connected to things, and she is still there. She is still moving around with her little claws and extenders and manipulators and things. She doesn't appear to be broken or unhurt, but off to the side of the room, there seems to be like a glass skylight or sky dome that is broken, and you see some things that look like ropes around, and somebody seems to have gained entry and has come out again the same way. Now, the next the monitor sort of shifts and changes and sort of gives you an external view of this tower. There seems to be somebody, a human, who seems to be climbing down the tower, and the human is in some sort of white gear. It looks like it looks like cold weather gear, and seems to be climbing down the tower.
Goddamn humans.
So that's, you're just getting all this from a monitor view, and there's a couple of other, the screen changes another few times trying to get other views. There doesn't seem to be anything else going on here. But there's a human climbing the tower, and it's sort of more the northish side of the tower down to the domed central area. So after a while, whoever this guy is going to be climbing down to reach the dome, and probably has to slide or climb down a bit more off the dome and to get to the ground.
Come on,
But
guys.
he's still
Someone do something.
Well, I
he's
asked.
still 15 or 20 meters up.
Well, I asked the robot. Do you have any like poisonous gas? I mean, you guys aren't affected by poisonous gas, right? So, do you have anything you can just emit in that room?
We don't have any defenses like that. We are trying to bring our robots off to the top side of the tower.
Is Metanoster okay?
Over the comm, because I'm on the ship, I said, do they have a fire suppression system and like halon gas sort of thing in there?
So they tell you, the RER says they have no such defense.
No. If there was a fire in there, do they have a fire suppression system?
Yeah, that's pretty advanced, but they might have something even more advanced than that now. So no, there's no halon gas system, if that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like if there was something of an equivalent type nature, that if they just pumped it in there, the person in there is going to succumb to it.
The person is outside now, climbing down the outside of the tower.
That's what I just said before. They don't have anything like that.
Maternoster's unharmed, but a skylight was broken. Somebody apparently came in and out. And RUR is still twittering half the time. It looks like he's coordinating or conferring with other people. And after a while,
I'm out of there. I'm going back to the ship and grabbing the crew, and we're gonna go to go get this person, whoever they are.
Oh, okay. Apparently,
do we have any?
Ronnie would say, "Hey, watch out! That guy may have planted explosives.
Exactly.
You might want to see about that tower in case there are explosives that could go off whenever he's at a safe range."
Yeah, get Metanoster out of there.
Do we have any like bikes or any form of transport on the ship?
You do. You have. If I flip very quickly to your map. For many weeks now, I put in one of these air rafts, which looks like a 6-person model right here. Oops, and again, the tokens sort of jiggle a bit if I don't press Alt to avoid the snapping to the grid. You have to press the Alt key if you're snapping to the grid. So this is a pretty fast transport. Anybody who's on the ship can easily get on this and ride off and get to.
That's what I'm thinking.
Get the factory in under a minute and a half, I guess.
I'm gonna grab my submachine gun. I'm gonna grab my submachine gun, my shotgun, my blade. I'm wearing my cloth and my reflect underneath, and I'm gonna say, "Let's get this punk." Come on, Ronnie. What do you think? Let's get this punk. You guys.
Oh yeah.
Not all humans are good and trying to do business with you. Some would like to see your fall and see you a slave race again. We're not here for that. We're here for trade.
Yeah. Well, the robots are no longer on the ship. I don't think you have a way to address them directly. Are you?
Okay, I don't have a way to drive, but all right. I'm sorry. Then I'm just gonna get my gun, shotgun, submachine gun, and my blade, and I'm wearing my reflect and my cloth.
Okay, so my fault because I didn't take the robots off the map as I moved back to the factory again. But whoever was on the ship, by the way, I think in all this confusion, RUR does manage to say in English that that you may use energy weapons on humans if you wish.
Woohoo!
So he got that out. So
yeah, there we go.
Lasers are back on the menu, boys and lady.
Oh
Okay, Ved, point your
Lasers are
very
back
big
on the
laser at
menu.
the guy, the one on the ship.
Okay, so I'm going to go around now. Who was on the ship first of all? Which?
Yep.
Me. I'm on the ship, and I've basically grabbed my gun, and I'm on the air raft, waiting for whoever else.
Ronnie too.
Virgil, Ronnie, Astria, the medic, may roll her eyes and have to join all the others in case there are injuries.
Fine.
Does Astria want to go?
Sure.
Okay, so it's like Astria is rolling her eyes and
yes, I'm rolling my
eyes. Okay.
Yeah, combat is not your thing, except you did end
No.
up training as a gunner unusually, just by virtue of default of getting a. It was explained to you that you have to be able to replace or substitute for somebody else in case of problems.
Yes, I understood.
So people cross-trained on any and all skills, including this. And that leaves who else was on the ship?
Myself and Ved.
Tomo.
And Tomo. Yeah,
okay.
But Brian's not here. When they get off, I'm going to go up to the cockpit and start the vessel and get Ved to get onto one of the gunners' points, and we'll fly over there too.
Okay, so there are three others who are sort of half in, half out of the factory, coordinating the iron. There's trying to transship the iron stuff. So that would have been Captain Wilson Derwatt is on site. I think you.
So I'm not on the air
those who are in the ship and in the air aft can probably get to the factory in under a minute, but you'll be approaching from the south end of the factory where the showroom is. This human figure is climbing down the tower more on the north side, and
I'm coming
it's a
along.
10-meter scale.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Right,
yeah, you're not. Are you on roll 20? Move your token.
He's not. He can't.
Okay.
He's only got his phone.
Whoever's flying.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd like if you could sweep around the front and get me a look in on that Noster and on the tower. I can recon and see if there's any planted right like that.
Well, that's why I hope someone's on the ship to do the sensors for me to do the same thing because I'm piloting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anybody on the ship?
Is there anybody who stays on the ship?
Me and
because
at the moment.
I'll be on the ship.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Do I need to stay on the ship in case we have to take off?
Okay, where does the captain want me to be? Jesus.
Yeah, we need to
The
split up
captain doesn't
carefully, I
care. The
guess.
captain's running
Do
off.
I need
He
to
left
stay
you
on the
behind.
ship? Or can I come along with my guns, Captain?
You're right.
Do you need me to be?
We need you driving the air raft.
Yeah.
Okay,
a
I'm
small,
in the.
Let me take a very brief. Let me take a very brief pause. Okay, you can discuss who stays on the ship, who goes into the air raft to make their way to the factory, and there are some who are already on site who took care of the cargo, the iron cargo. So I want to know in which of these three groups you are when I come back. Just a short moment, please.
All right, I'm gonna go.
All right, so we're taking a 2-minute break.
I don't know. I'll stop the recording and we can start it up again. Go.
Okay.
Yeah, all good. We're good.
Okay. Sorry, Steve. Did you stop the video for something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
for break.
Yeah, it's going now. Sorry. So we're closing in on this person who's looks like they've entered in the tower, and we're trying to get there.
To recap, Brogan, Virgil, Ronnie, are on the air raft coming from the ship. Astria is on the ship's sensors. C is still on the ship.
Piloting.
Pilot or could pilot. Ved is waiting on the gunnery. Tomo and Captain Wilson Durwood are on site. Wilson is trying to sprint. I'm going to say that just to be generous, and I don't know if I trust the thing, but for this round, for the very first round, if Wilson is first thought is to check upon Mater Noster, he can run 3 squares at this scale instead of 2, and so that'll cover. If there's no big obstacles, it's a nice straight assembly line with a clear path for people to walk and avoid the assembly line. So trying to see how many meters that's going to make overall. Oops, I better shift down in scale so I can get it all.
Oops.
Yeah,
move
so
30. I gotta move like another 120.
Yeah, okay, so it's at a generous thing, it would probably take 4 rounds to get to where the catwalk is that'll connect you to the elevator. And remember that you're not going straight into the heart of the iron foundry. You have to sort of zip along the sides, take a circular stairway around the sides. There's some catwalk as well. It might take 4 or 5 rounds and then a couple of rounds to get up to the Mater Noster. But if that's your first thought, it's a worthwhile thing to do. So if we burn up the first 4 rounds after the alarm and after your reaction, you can put him like about there. Oops, let me bring back to the pointer, around there. So you're making your way up a circular staircase, something like that, and then a circular catwalk going to the access to the tower. So the tower access you'll probably have to get there by round 4, 5, 7, but you're on the spot. Maybe some robots have the same idea to do the same thing as you. This guy is climbing slowly and painfully, but apparently nobody was around the tower itself. Some robots are coming out side passages, side doors of the assembly lines, but they are just spectators. They are humans, and none of the humanoid robots can fight. They're not programmed to Asimov's 3 laws of robotics and all that jazz. It's only the heavy lifting robots that are equipped with or fitted with weapons.
What are the Marines doing at this point in time?
Sitting on their asses.
kind of wondering that.
Yeah, you don't know exactly where they're quartered. I think they took off at some point in your proceedings.
Well, perhaps one of them's on the tower wall.
Okay. Okay.
Herbivore mole.
How far away are we from getting to the tower?
In an air raft, you can probably make it in the air, any altitude of your choice.
High enough to get over that, so we're flying over it, so we're not, or flying over the factory part of it, and I want to get sort of, if I can get to a point where I can see the guy going down the side, so I can while we're traveling, I'm snapping on the rifle stock and the scope, and basically I'm gonna, if I can get to a point where I can see him, I'm gonna try and take out his leg or an arm.
Okay, well, he's rappelling down the side of the domed area with using ropes, which I think he's sort of casting off and leaving behind. He's dressed in some white winter gear, and it seems to be made to blend with the snow color a little bit, not necessarily the tower color. Tower sort of a dun grayish.
Yep. So I don't know if we can get there in 4 rounds or 5 rounds.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a picture of your air raft, which I'm going to give you control. I hope. I'm not sure how to do that. Let me just see here.
No, I'm driving that air raft.
Yeah, and you can drive it. You can turn it. I'm just trying to see where in the files I stored the air raft picture. Oh no, sorry. I can just copy and paste it. I can copy it from one map, paste it into another. That's easy. Copy. Go back to your map, Iron Factory map, and paste it. So I'm going to fix the start and where you roll initiative and all that at about the time that the air raft comes to around here. You can turn it into the appropriate direction.
Is there any?
Never mind.
Is there any modifier for taking the sniper shot with my laser?
There'll be certain modifiers based on distance and so on. Now your sniper rifle.
No, it's not a sniper rifle. It's basically like we discussed. It's like a broom handle, more so with a rifle stock that I can clip on, and the scope. Yeah. So it kind of looks like Boba Fett's blaster, effectively, that you see him carrying in the.
Yeah.
When I convert it to that. So basically,
you'll have range modifiers, and you have a modifier if you're in a moving vehicle. And I suppose Jerry or Rogan is interested in making that thing move like a mother. So
yes.
So basically, I want, if we can get it to say here, I'll take and get him to hover there. I'll take the shot.
Yeah. Okay,
I
so
want
you
to
don't have
move
to
in as quick as I can. Whatever's best.
Okay, you're fairly. Yeah, let's say that you're about there, and the figure has gone onto the solid snow next to the still robot about this time. And now I'm going to ask for initiative rolls from everybody. In your sheet, you have you can click the combat button, and you'll get stats for your weapons and whatnot and so on. And the way it works is I'm going to turn on the turn order window. Now the map is not a realistic scale, it's 10 meters. I'd like everybody to drag and drop their name somewhere on the map, not necessarily where you really are.
I rolled a 12.
Yeah, but I think you have to touch your token first before the roll will be recorded. That's the trouble.
Yeah, you gotta touch your token first.
And it says you have to count.
How does that work? I don't get my 12 though.
Yep.
Well, because
you didn't follow directions.
the turn order window, I have to turn that on, and you have to click your token before you roll the thing. So put your token any which way, like line your tokens near the bottom of the map. It's not necessarily
I don't even know
representing
where my token is.
Still trying to get my token on the bloody map. And it won't do it.
To get your token on the map, you just drag and drop your name from the right column onto the map. Like I can do that for everybody if you can't. Wilson Durwatt is running.
Do that. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
I'm getting a turny clock thing.
It's working. I can do it. I moved Brogan for you. You're at the bottom of the map right now, but we know that.
I'm at the top of the map.
I know you, but don't put it in your. It's too hard to move your to join it with your air rafts unless I group the tokens together.
Okay,
maybe.
okay.
Just put them down in a row, because I know that Brogan, Virgil, and Ronnie are the people in the air rafts. I'm going to represent them by a group like this. There we go.
Can you,
Brogan, Virgil, Ronnie.
Brogan multiplied.
Did it take my initiative now? I rolled an 8 instead of a 12.
Yep.
Where do I roll initiative now?
It worked.
Where do I roll the
Do you want to re-roll?
So there's prime skills, inventory, combat, and then you can pick Dex or Intelligence, and you click roll initiative.
Yeah, I think I selected the best one. It's either Dex or Intelligence dice modifier, so it's actually automatically added. Ronnie gets the roll of 13, apparently. And I can roll for those people who are not here.
Okay, well.
Now, the actual initiative is your effect, which is those rolls -8. So I'll just -8 to all of those things, and then put everybody in order.
I don't
actually
think
it doesn't matter too
added
much.
anything.
Let me see. For C, 3 + 4 + 2. So you rolled a 7. If you touch the 9, you'll see the breakdown of your roll.
Yeah, I can't.
You had an attribute modifier of 2.
Okay, that's all cool.
So it is automatically included. Trust the system.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Never trust anything.
Okay, now Tomo, does Tomo follow Wilson? Tomo running might be a bit more interesting. Does Tomo follow Wilson, or does Tomo do something else? You're all connected by, I suppose, radios or Wi-Fi things.
Gone.
Very easy. I'm sorry,
Yeah, he's
Justin?
not here.
Oh, okay. For Brian?
Yeah, Brian's out.
Okay, so, all right. Well, what would a conservative decision for Tomo be? I think Tomo is going to try to run as much as he can. Let me see.
Tomo would probably follow the captain.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wilson goes to. Okay, I'm going to say Tomo runs almost as fast as Wilson, but not realistically. Trying very hard. Okay, so Tomo will follow. There's room for 2 to go up the tower if that's what Tomo's doing. Okay, now let me see who's left here. Astria should. I'm going to put. Let me see. C is still on the ship. Astria is still on the ship.
Yep. And Ved is still on the ship.
You have to click your token. So this grouping here of tokens represents the people who are on the ship.
Cool.
But all of those have to roll initiative. So if you go to the combat tab and roll your initiative, you'll appear in the turn order.
Okay.
And there's another thing I will add to the turn order, which is a round counter.
And you'll need to roll for Ved, because none of us can.
Okay, I'll make a roll for Ved, sure.
So have you picked your little token first, Jen?
Yeah, I did. I went and I did my token first, and then I went into combat.
Okay.
If you highlight your token,
you get a little window that says what modifier. Look at the little. Okay, and then you did all
Do
that.
I have to put one for a modifier or anything?
No, the modifier is included.
Yeah. Okay, and then I print okay.
It's not showing up.
You didn't click your
okay, I'll do it again.
Your intellect modifier is automatically included, so you don't have to add it.
That's what I had to do too. Yeah.
Well, I'll do it again. When you click on your token and all those circles came up, do you have to click on a circle?
Well, if let me just follow your sheet. If you go on your sheet, click the button for combat.
Yeah.
Then below the armor line, below the section about armor, there's a section that says roll initiative, select token first.
Yeah.
And you're set up with dexterity because that's your higher modifier.
Yeah.
Dexterity or intellect are both +1 in the case of your character. So it's set to dexterity. Either way, doesn't matter. And then you click the button that literally says roll initiative, select token first. So you have to click the token to highlight it, and you get that little square around your token.
Yeah, I did all that initiative.
Stuff.
Yeah, I click my token and like 5 circles come up. And,
no, the circles are not what you click. No. You go into your
I'm not
sheet.
clicking. I'm not clicking. Oh, I click the token on my sheet.
No, you don't have to click the token on your sheet, but to jump to your character sheet very quickly, you can hold down Alt and double click your token.
Yeah, I'm on there.
If you hold down Alt and double click your token, you go to your character sheet very quickly.
Yeah, I'm on my
character sheet. Under the combat tab of your character sheet, then click roll initiative.
Yeah, I did all that stuff. I clicked the token on the roll 20, right? On the map.
On the map, you see, right at the bottom edge of the map.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I clicked my token.
Well, let me roll it and see if it works.
My token is highlighted, so I unclick it, so I can go back to my character sheet.
You don't have to unclick it. You can just click it, leave it highlighted. Leave it highlighted.
Why don't you just take the numbers she got and squeeze her in the order and fuck the turning sequence? Just whatever she rolled, just write it on a notepad and just do it. Because we're going to spin our wheels.
But she goes after
one. Add. Okay. Let me roll for her, and I'll change the number. As I highlight the token, I go to Astria's sheet, and then you can go quickly to the sheet by holding down Alt and double clicking a token while it's still highlighted, and then I click the roll initiative button.
I keep my sheet up.
And you have to click the box with the modifier comes up. You have to leave it at 0 and click submit.
Yeah, I
Okay,
did
so
that.
I've added something, but by being generous, I'm going to give Astria the 10 that was originally rolled. So it's a 10.
Right.
I'm changing it to 10. There. Oops, 10 slash. Whatever. Now the actual initiative is your effect, which is whatever you get more than 8. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who's missing? Wilson, Brogan, Virgil, Ronnie.
Probably Tomo.
Oh, Tomo, right. Okay. Well, I'll give an initiative for him as well. Same deal. The token, alt double click, combat, roll, initiative. And you got to forget the input value modifier. There is no modifier. So that's rolled. Okay, now I put them in order. Let's see, sort numerically descending. It looks like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are in rounds. So it looks like, you can subtract. Let me just see. It doesn't make any difference really. So Ronnie goes first, and the initiative order that's rolled pretty much stays the same way round after round until conclusion. Ronnie goes first. What would Ronnie like to do? And we'll try to go through quickly in order.
Let's see. I can't get eyes on the guy or the north side of the town.
Not quite this round. I think you might start to see him. If you're high enough, you clear the line 3 buildings, and he seems to be scooting off generally in a northwesterly direction. I can't drag him off the map. I wonder if I can extend the map.
All right.
You'll change a lot.
Yeah, there's a button for that. For now, I will scan around and see what I can see with my recon skill, if I can spot anybody who might be with him or anything.
Okay, good idea. Roll a recon roll.
Can I help? I have recon as well.
Are you with him in the...
I'm in the raft.
The raft, okay. Do you have binoculars in your immediate gear?
I have a scope.
Oh, rifle scope. Okay, good. That's a good idea. All right. So, if you want to make a help roll, you can go ahead and roll recon. And don't forget the quick way to get to your sheet is you click your token and then alt double click.
No, my sheet was already open.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 10.
Okay, spotting dangers, spotting threats, unusual objects or things out of place. Okay, very good. You move your scope to the figure who is darting away in a northwesterly direction. Your scope sort of zips forward to his track, like he's sort of on a running track, running northwest. If your scope darts northwest, you do notice, you see that he has an accomplice, 2 guys also in very concealing winter wear. Further up, several, could be 100, 150 meters ahead.
Yeah, I will report. The guy is on the ground. He's running towards two more accomplices on the ground, and they're in white clothing as well. So there's 3 of them.
Do you give us direction?
Okay.
Northwest. So northwest on the it was northwest, correct? Well, mind you,
Okay.
yeah, they're heading north. Northwest of the.
Okay, in around a figure at this scale could run probably 2.5, 3 of these squares, but you're in an air raft, you can move around faster, of course.
Yep. Moving into position.
Yeah.
Whoever's moving the air raft.
Brogan.
You can probably overtake him, and I'm going to say that you're basically closing half the distance between you and him, counting as he's running. And next, we go very quickly to Astria onboard ship.
Shall I get the ship there?
You can.
Okay.
Well, the ship is
Right.
not there. It hasn't taken off or anything there. But even
Just,
so,
yeah.
No.
sometimes people can use sensors and maybe glean more information or do something. I'm just trying to think here.
Yeah, what would I use the sensors for? Like, would I be able to? I can't detect that guy, right? I can't detect the guy.
You could detect him through a thermal imaging sensor.
Yeah.
It's cold and he's
One
hot.
thing that really stands out here on this planet is heat sources. Everything's a uniform cold, whatever the -20 temperature is, -20 Celsius temperature is of today. Whatever the daily
Okay.
temperature is, hot things stand out. If your ship sensors are good enough, somebody could use sensors, and it would be so easy. Even a skill 0 could do it. It'd probably make it an easy roll.
I'm going to try to detect that then. Yeah.
Do we have any metallic sensors as well that we might be able to detect any ships or vehicles that they might have on the ground?
Okay, well, this is Astri's turn.
I'm going to try to see if I can track this guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Heat, metal. I don't know if metal is so easily detectable in an iron ore rich world. You're probably going to get noise all over the place. So maybe Astria thinks of that, tries metal detection, but it's an iron ore rich world. She's getting interference and noise from every place.
I wouldn't try
but heat
that.
is a very good distinctive thing.
Yeah, I would try heat because I know that there's a whole bunch of iron ore. That's not going to work. I'm a doctor.
Okay, so
I know that.
Yeah. I think you're dealing more. I think you're using more native intelligence rather than anything. So it would be a base electronics roll for you. Just flip the electronics button and see if I have a chance to find out something.
4. Oh, it's only 4.
Okay. Now you're at a distance. You're at some distance from the facility. Ship is on the ground. Maybe it was on an elevated landing pad or something. Hard to see, but with that roll, no, you're not really getting much, and it's largely due to the angle. Maybe somebody who's more expert might have compensated for that, but nothing yet this round. I'd like to move on to Psy. Steve, what is Psy doing?
I'm taking off, and I'm assuming that this ship moves a little bit faster than the air aft. I want to go as close as I can to the position of the guy as reported by Virgil.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that in the previous rounds, as Wilson was running up to the center tower and so on, and all the rounds in between, you did prep up the ship for takeoff or a quick takeoff, and you just have to make a basic piloting roll. It's a totally flat surface without obstacles that you're taking off from, but you point the ship in the right way.
Here we go, I think.
So it's pilot Starship.
Yep. There we go.
Now, is that are you using a wafer to do this skill?
I believe it is a wafer. No, it's not. It's not. I was a scout. I got this as native. This is native to me. 1 plus my +2 from dexterity, apparently.
Okay, so you did have pilot 1 already.
Yep. Yep. I rolled a 10.
Yeah,
got
pilot
+3.
spacecraft 1.
Yep.
+2,
and
+3.
dexterity
Okay.
+2. Yep.
Okay. If your skill is already like that, a wafer wouldn't help anyway, because a wafer level 1 pops out at level 1. But so this is your native ability. Very good. Okay, so very easy. You can take off, move the ship. The ship is behind the air raft, understandably. So you're not quite there yet, but you took off. And you headed in generally the right direction.
Okay. As I'm moving, I'm listening to what Virgil's saying, and I'm also relaying to Astrid to try again. And also, if you can, try to look for a different power source in case they've got a ship nearby. So a thermal and a power source, if she can, when it's her next turn. That's me.
Okay, very good ideas. All right. Next is Wilson. Okay, now Wilson, you're still in movement, but you can manage to cover the catwalk, which is familiar to you. Without any trouble, I'm going to say that you can spiral around the circular staircase on the outside. The heat from the iron foundry is still there, but it's not affecting you if you stay to the catwalk area. And I'm going to say that you make your way eventually to the elevator by the center tower, but you haven't activated it to go up yet. But you're making very good time. And is there anything else you want to do as a minor action while you're running?
Quick
I
question,
guess
Pierre.
running is occupying all your time.
Quick question, Pierre, from Brian.
Yes.
Is Tomo with the captain?
You're lagging behind,
Tomo,
so I'm like, come on,
yeah,
go.
Tomo is down here, running, but almost not quite as well, let's say. Right here.
I've got athletics too. I'm really fast.
That's athletic
No,
strength.
I'm mostly mostly strength, yes.
Yeah, it's athletic 0, dexterity. Like if you have a base 0 for all the specialties, but you're a bigger corpulent mountain of flesh, and the air resistance alone makes you different from Wilson.
It's muscle.
Air resistance.
I just made a quick guess, a wild, random adjudication here.
Your drag
I don't want to
coefficient's
get
big,
into.
them, Tomo.
Yeah. But
That's
you're
cool.
doing fairly well, and you're probably making your way up to the base of those stairs, which run, as I say, run along the circular side, well away from the center blast furnace of the iron foundry. And
Too
you're
much
making your
weight,
way
not
up the
enough speed.
stairs. Yeah, so there's like, well, I can draw it out here. There's
No, it's okay. I understand.
it's
I know the setup.
something like this: circular stairs
yeah.
leading up, and then at a certain altitude, you got a catwalk to the center tower, the base of the center tower, like that.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for anybody else as well.
Okay.
Like they shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the figure is running northwest, not as pictured really, but well, starting to cover some distance. But he can, of course, be outrun by an air raft, which and I'm going to place the air raft at roughly closed half the distance during this first round, single first round. Things are moving very fast. Tomo is doing his best. Next comes let me
Ved.
see. It was
Ved.
sorry. Tomo is out of order. Ved is next, actually.
Yep. So since I'm flying the ship, I'm obviously going to be higher than the tower because I don't want to fly at it and then crash into it. So I'm going to ask Ved if he can get a bead on the guy running and shoot, about 30 yards, feet, whatever it is, in front of him to try to stop or halt his progress.
Are you aware there's 2 other guys that he's running towards?
Yeah, no. Well,
Okay.
they're in the way, but at least we'll get this guy.
You've gained some altitude. You're probably some distance away, rushing up. I'm trying to judge basically where you're.
This ship only has about a 5,000 kilometers range, so I'm pretty sure that we're going to be within range.
Oh, definitely, yeah, but
so things are a little different.
Yeah.
In gunnery in space, you have nice inky black space where ships stand out from, and you may need sensors and detection. Here, you have a snowy wasteland of.
That's fine.
And I
Even
think
if
that
it's
falls-
a general area, it just warns him that we got big gunpowder coming his way if he's stupid enough.
You probably have beautiful telescopic optics, but I don't think you have any of these humans in sight yet with your big guns. So it's I'm just saying it's a bit of a different game on the ground.
Yeah, not to mention that you risk hitting the facility as well.
No, he's not aiming anywhere. No.
I think the guy on foot is trying to make some distance away from the facility and trying to rejoin his buddies. But okay, if that's Ved's general action, Ved is at the gunnery station, ready to go, and Astria could occupy the other gunnery spot if she really wanted to.
Okay.
Well, she's going to be on
you're
sensors,
qualified for it.
Yeah,
you're like Ripley, who has like a class 2 rating on guns. Basic gunnery.
Oh.
Next would be Virgil.
I fire. I take a shot take a shot at the guy running.
Okay, so you're on the air raft doing this with your weapon.
I know this can't be. It's going to be. I'm bracing on the side of the air raft, so I've got a bit of stability to fire.
Okay. Now, the way it works is range is about 60, 70 meters as the air raft closes. What kind of weapon do you have? Well, actually, I can see your sheet as well as you
can. I've got my laser pistol.
Okay, laser pistol, which itself has a range of 30. So If you're just under double the range, you're talking about anything up to 30 meters range. It would have been better to be a laser.
You can't grab him by the collar, you fucking idiot.
You didn't mute yourself, Dad.
I'm watching football too.
What?
What?
Jerry?
What are you saying? Jerry.
Fucking guy.
I was going to grab him by the collar when I got there. So.
What are you
Where
talking
the hell did that come from?
He's
I
watching.
guess there's some. It's a football
game.
game, and that's the thing you can say. Okay.
whiz.
Anyway, 60 meters range is making you, almost double the basic range of a laser pistol. It's a -2 just for range, and you're also on a moving vehicle, and very quickly, well, without pulling any other modifiers from the combat thing, when you're moving, fast moving target, or you're the moving instead, it's -1 for every full 10 meters of target movement relative to the attacker. So I'd have to say, very conservatively, you've got at least another -2. So -2 is -4. There is a way to get some pluses in this situation, though, because if you're aiming for a minor action, that's automatically a +1. If you want to spend, instead of a major action of firing, if you trade a major action for 2 minor actions, you can get 3 minor actions in a round. And in other words, if you wait and carefully aim and shoot in the next round, your chances will go up.
Okay,
You want
I'll
to
do
shoot
that.
now at -3, or wait and aim better? Because the rules say that there's 3 minor actions per round. If you wait up to a maximum of 2 rounds, that's 6 minor actions, and you'd be +6 just from more careful aiming.
I'll just aim for the moment, and I'll fire next round.
Okay, yeah, and we'll figure out how many minor action aim bonuses you get. So that's a good
Does the
plan of
scope
attack.
add anything too? Does my
Are you
scope add anything?
Do you have a
'Cause
scope
I'm-
on a laser pistol? Because it's not a
Yes.
rifle.
No, as we discussed a while back, I take an attach a rifle stock and a scope to it. So it's like
Okay, on a laser pistol.
Oh, so it's like a broomstick, like one of those Mauser broomsticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what modifier does the scope add?
What the scope does is, it's going to eliminate the range problem. Let me just see here. Laser sight.
Go back to my. I do.
Oh, sorry, it's a scope.
Yep, and I also have a laser sight as well.
Yeah, it has a scope. Scope is like a trait. Let me go to the page about traits. Ooh, sorry. Did I write something on your sheet about that further down? I think I may have pasted something in your sheet, like I did.
You were going to. You were going to, but I can't see.
Okay. Well, I think the benefit of a scope is that it helps treat things as one range less than it is. So you're probably going to get rid of the -2. So it's going to take off. It's probably going to take off the -2 from range. So as a quick estimate, let me just say that you're in your normal range band. So 30 meters, it's as if treating it as if it's 30 meters or less, but you're still -2 because of relative motion. And you can get rid of one of that.
And it has a laser sight as well. So
laser sight and laser sight and scope.
Laser sight gives +1 DM to any attack made at less than 50 meters.
Okay. All right. Well, just as a rough thumbnail calculation, if you want to shoot right now with all of that, I think you're only going to get the -2 from the relative motion. And if you aim once in your minor turn, you can shoot right on this turn at -1. Or if you want to wait longer, your aim will improve. What do you want to do?
I will shoot now at -1.
Okay,
I have a so that's going to give me it's going to give me a 3 skill total of +3.
Your skill and your bonus, your dice modifier already figured out automatically.
So when I go
is
input value, so for modified, I put -1.
Yeah, click the weapon, click the little square next to the weapon to roll, and under input value -1 for all these other factors when it's added up. So that would be the correct roll.
Yep.
And then damage might result if you succeed. Damage is also rolled in there. Okay. Oh, very good. Okay. The roll is good. Damage is figured out. Now you also get extra damage because of your effect. Anything greater than 8 adds to the damage. And you actually rolled an 8 plus 6. Now, where does the 4 come from? Let me see here.
That's a skill.
Skill and everything. Okay, okay.
-1.
Wow, okay. So your damage is rolled as 15. It bumps up to 6, so that makes a total of 21 damage. And I'm going to check the sheet of the one I call number 3. Let me see what that does based on armor.
Drilled a hole in his back, Tony.
Holy cow. Yeah, under endurance. Combat. Okay, well, I think you see some shimmers of laser light bounce off him somewhat because he does have reflect armor for 10. That still makes 11 points to deal with. Let me see what his endurance is. Okay, let me see. He's still surviving.
Didn't knock him over though.
Sorry, let me check here. He does seem like he's doing a crippled or wounded thing. Let me just check here. Well, all you can see from that distance is that he's slowing down in this turn. So you did have a successful shot. With the aiming and fiddling and all that and bracing yourself, as you said, that's pretty much all you can do for now. So you rolled a 14, you did 21 damage. I'm just noting all this down. That's pretty much all that you can do. I go now to Brogan. Jerry, you've been waiting patiently. I'm trying to run an 8-player combat, plus other players as well, other characters. What is Brogan doing? Oh, is Jerry still there? You're muted.
Okay, I'm still here. Where am I exactly? The air raft moved on up. I would also want to take a shot if I could. Am I in range? What is my range?
Driving.
I was flying the air raft. I could have a submachine gun in one hand. If I could get close enough, I want to spray him.
You can do that, but since it's a second action, it would be a -2 because you're doing two things at once. You're driving and you're shooting. But you have a submachine gun figured on -2. There is a -2 range.
But that's also auto fire though too, so I could fire a couple times, right?
You can do a burst, and I did write a little thing in your blurb sheet about the difference between there's 3 kinds of shots with an automatic weapon. There is
I'm gonna go full auto.
Full auto, okay.
Yeah, man. What does that
not just a burst, but full auto.
Oh man, I closed this out again. Jesus Christ! I'm not even in roll 20. Somehow I closed it out, or it closed itself out. All right, hang on. I'm getting in there now. God, I don't know. It's moving. It's just I was all sidetracked. I apologize about that. I thought I was muted. Okay, before the little outburst. All right.
You were passionate about your sports.
Well, my wife and my daughters are in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's a preseason Packer game, which doesn't matter. And these guys suck. These rookies. Some of them are just horrible.
Really? Okay.
They're winning, but I mean, stupid plays. Anyway, all right. So what am I doing? I'm in there. I'm in my character. Let's see. and let's look at them. Character sheet, combat.
SMG's auto 3, so you get 3 shots.
I get 3 rounds, but I get it at a -2. But I have my dex bonus too. So do I just click on the auto? I click on the submachine gun and fire? But I got to do it at a -2, you said.
You'd have to do it 3 times.
That's right. Now I thought. Oh, okay. Under.
Boom.
Hey, that's a hit for 12 damage.
Okay.
Then I get to do it 3 times. So let's try that again. Oh, did I close my character? Here's my character. All right. God, where's it? Combat. So, submachine gun, click.
Your range modifier might be different because your submachine gun has a better range than his laser pistol, I think. Don't forget that.
Well, it should have a much better range. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do I get a better modifier on that? You had me at a -2.
Well, you're -2 because of relative movement. Your submachine gun range. Oh, sorry. Your submachine gun range seems to say 25 meters, so that's probably no better than what Virgil had. So, still certain factors to do with it, and it's.
Well, I hit for 12 damage on the first shot. The second shot, I hit for 8 damage. Okay. And let's do the third shot now. Hold on. And this is with the -2, so I hit twice. Third shot would be submachine gun, click it, input value at a -2. My dexterity's helping me here.
Cool.
And that was a miss. That one would have been 10 damage, but it's a miss. So I did a total of 20 points damage from 2 hits. 1 for 12 and 1 for 8. And then the third one was a miss. So I sprayed him while I'm flying.
Okay. With that, he's got a certain. Sorry, let me just go back here.
He's got some sort of armor on. I don't know if there's any effect there. The attack. I got an effect. Is the effect included in the damage? Because I have an effect for 1.
It actually is +2 for the first attack, +1 for the second attack. So I would make it as a total of 23 points, just to go very quickly here. And his armor is not going to cover all that necessarily, so he may go down. Let me just go back to his sheet. I'm bouncing between the NPC things and the PCs.
He's probably going to be suppressed anyway, even if he doesn't go down.
Technically, the armor, and I don't mean to. The armor should protect him individually on each hit. So if he has an armor of 6, it would come off. The 13 and an armor 8, and a hit of 9 with the effect would only be a hit of 3. With armor as damage reduction.
Individual shots here. The damage was 14 on the first one. The damage was 9 on the second one. So 14, and I'll tell you, his armor only works out to 8. So 14 minus 8 is 6. 9 minus 8 is 1. It makes a total of 7. So,
he's still upright. I didn't kill him because his armor took the hit. Probably guessing. I don't know how much damage did Virgil do?
Virgil did a total of 21 damage, and I was counting the effect.
And the armor.
And you did damage of 14 and then 9. And mark off your appropriate ammunition, because Auto 3 uses 6 bullets overall.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 9. It's 3 times the bullets you use, isn't it? For a full auto. Mark off the appropriate ammunition you're using each time. So if laser would be 99 out of 100 or shots or whatever it is.
I have 11 rounds left right now in that mag.
Yeah. Mark off your ammo. Okay, now he lies still. He may be bleeding out. He stopped. This figure in the snow. And that's where the hand, he rolls over, his hand falls over, bloody hand on the snow, close up. And that's, obviously the shot I used for the movie preview, Netflix preview thing. So you've covered that now. Let me see. Next, after Brogan is Tomo. Tomo is, I guess, still occupied with running. So now we move on to round. Notice the round counter goes out. Tomo's done. Round 2. Round 2. Ronnie, we're back to you. Ronnie?
Manta. Can't hear you.
I want to try to. Oh.
No, you okay now. You weren't before.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
Okay. All right. I didn't get to do anything last round. I'm gonna try to scan the. Let's see. I'm gonna try and look over the north side of the tower and see if I can spot anything that might be explosives planted up there where that guy was climbing up and down. I don't know if I can see into the top room. Probably not, but I want to look around.
And, yeah, you saw what looked like some sort of
we were before the tower.
Pinion ropes and climbing gear and stuff. Now, actually, no, I think that he only used ropes to go down the circular part of the dome. Across the tower, he had some sort of crampons or something on his feet that would help him climb a tower. But the tower's a certain radius, whatever. You see some remnants of some sort of gear. There's no big bulky thing that would look like an explosive pack. If you're thinking about, well, like what is the size of a C4 pack? It's a thing about a kilo and a half, 2 kilos.
Yeah.
No, you don't see anything like that.
You
see at the top of the tower, you see the broken glass where he got in through a skylight type of window. Wilson is getting on the elevator to go up now. Does by the way, I'm sort of going out of sequence here, but is Wilson going to wait for Tomo, or is Wilson going to zip up in the elevator on his own? Justin?
I think I want the backup, so I'll wait for Tomo and then I'll do like a leadership.
Okay, I think Tomo can make it in probably just a round, maybe 2. Actually, okay, I'll be generous and give it a round, but okay, back to Ronnie. So, yeah, this is what you see. There doesn't seem to be any obvious explosives or any other source of harm. But you know that the fallen guy has 2 buddies in the snow, and I think the buddies are on the move. They seem to be moving.
Oh, okay.
They seem to be moving
I could
forward.
take a shot at them, I guess. If I'm not rolling for a recon or anything, I could. I've got a laser pistol. I could.
Yeah, if the air raft is moving forward and is still probably soon going to overfly the fallen guy. The other 2 guys are maybe 100, 110 meters ahead in the snow. Plus, I should count your altitude and do a little Pythagorean triangle to figure out your altitude plus your range and what the hypotenuse is, the diagonal distance.
Yeah, I might just aim this round then.
Okay, so you're taking aim.
It'd be too far for me to hit with the laser pistol. Yeah.
It's pretty cool to try to aim on a moving thing. You're closing, but your angle also dips. So it's hard to keep track the way Brogan is driving. But okay, so you're aiming this round. Anything else to do as a minor action? Anything to say?
Nope.
Okay. Next, Astria, you can try the sensor thing again if you'd like. Your ship, Psi, so you pronounce it as Psi. Psi is moving the ship into range, and the ship is much faster than an air raft when it wants to. I'm thinking about the size of a big, the Serenity and Firefly, really quick mover. This means that your angle is much improved if you want to try the sensors again.
Yes.
Same roll.
Okay. Yep. Electronics. 9.
Good.
Okay. All right. So you're getting. I think you're getting a good fact about the heat source, but what is the biggest heat source on this map? What would you think it is?
Probably the guy.
The forge, or whatever it's called, foundry.
Yeah.
The
forge,
away
iron foundry where they're actually smelting molten iron.
Oh, Okay, yeah.
Okay, now that becomes a noise source, but fortunately the fallen body is a little distance away. It's hard for me to show it on the map because I didn't put a top on this map, but it's hard to show. But you see that, you do see the two buddies, so you do have sort of like an image or a fix. It's a bit of a snowy fix, but if you want, you can relay it to Gunner if you want, so you can relay it to the rest of the ship if you have a sensor fix.
Yeah,
it's not the most perfect thing, effect 1, but I do count it as a success if you rolled an effect 1. So you do have a thing, but your angle is all wrong right now to get a clear shot because of the tower and the assembly line buildings that are still a little bit in the way at your angle. That problem will clear up in the next round, though.
Okay.
If people really want to try a shot, they can risk it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
So it's a sensor success. Next, Sai, what do you do?
I'm just bringing the ship around so that we're right away from the tower. We're on the north side, targeting the front towards the people. If Astria has not told me that there's another ship somewhere around, then I'm not going to move from these two guys that are moving forward. And telling, and making sure Ved has got all the stuff he needs fed to him for if and when he wants to take a shot.
There has to be a ship somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
People can come out of the air. I mean, come out of nowhere.
Unless they happen to be part of the military force that greeted us and they were just moles.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
That's a possibility too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spies in the service.
Mm.
Okay, let me see now. To represent, oops, let me just clear that up. What am I trying to do here? Okay, I see what I'm trying to do. Okay, I know what I did wrong, and now I'm going to do it right. Okay, so let me just make a rough outline of.
What you could do, Pierre, is put a blank map on.
That's all cool.
Just draw the edge of the tower and like have that at the bottom of that top part. Just copy the top part.
Oh yeah, okay. I think you're right. I was trying to do something else. Very silly of me here. Let me just.
Yeah, so just copy the top, the top part of it, and then do another blank map. Just do
might not work,
okay.
Tony, because it works on vectors, not on.
I see what you're getting. What I was actually trying to do was something else. Let me just see here. Copy. I was trying to do something else. Just erase that silly shape I put on. Can't erase it. Oh, I know.
Oh, Control Z should take it off.
Yeah, Control Z, right.
Yeah.
Okay, now can I
just copy the
not
top
at this
part.
range.
Copy the top part of the map, and then make a blank grid like that is.
Right.
Then put that at the bottom, and then it gives you
no. All you need to do, Pierre, is go to your little blue square and go to your map parameters and just make the map bigger. Add 50 squares on the top.
Yeah, but I think it'll add squares on the bottom only. Let me try it. But you may be right. Let me check it out.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Size, height.
It probably
it'll only add to what's there already. It won't put it on top. Or
they just move the
left.
move the action there down to the bottom.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to move so many lines at the bottom. They won't move
together.
It's all
line.
So,
well,
just adding stuff at the bottom.
Just do all select all. Go to your map level and select all. I'm assuming it's on the map level.
Okay. That's a good idea. Map level, Control A is select all.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Then you should be able to move it all down.
Am I on the map level?
Do need to save it, obviously.
It's not.
No. Depends on how you've drawn it, whether you've drawn it on the token. Well, you wouldn't draw it on the token level.
Control A. Control A is select all.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's moving. It's moving.
Excellent.
And back to the token level, and everybody will have to just readjust their. I'll just move the tokens accordingly. Okay, success. I think. Can you see the change?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll reposition the tokens to somewhere reasonable, and we'll need some sort of abstract shape for. Okay, people on the air raft. Still on the air raft. Okay, that doesn't have to move. And well, the guy fell around here. The fallen robot was here. Never mind that. Paternoster was in the center somewhere here. This shape, that's just to show the circular stairway. And Brogan, where's Brogan out? Brogan is with, well, that's just
He's
an
in
extra
the air
Brogan
raft.
token. Okay, yeah, well, the air raft has already overflown the dead body, and I'm going to introduce two more figures, like I said, at about 100, 110 meters range, which would be about, yeah, somewhere in there. Wonderful. Okay, thanks, guys. So if you can catch that whole view, Steve, at about 60% zoom, whatever, let me just place two tokens for these two other guys that you can pretty much plainly see from the air raft. And there's one more thing I want to add to the map.
The ship?
Size ship is much larger than the air raft.
Yeah.
How'll I do that? Maybe a triangle?
Yeah.
Or maybe a copy of...
just the air raft bigger. That'll do for now. just
big giant air raft. I was just going to make an abstract triangle.
Well, if it's an air raft, it's a token, so you can move it in one hit easier. That's all.
Yeah, the starship is not a token, though. It's a full map on the other page.
No, I mean just to represent it on the page. You just need something to chuck down.
Anyway, moving up, moving along. Two guys around here. Similar wear. Similar cold weather wear like that. So something like that. And okay, I'm going to imagine a big, huge looming ship. It's the whole looming far trader that gingerly makes its way around here, trying to clear the tower, make its way around there.
Well, we're coming from there, so we'd be going around and.
Yeah, gingerly make your way around tower here. So it's a big, huge mass, but it's got the gunners at just over 100 meters range, or 120, 130 if you count the hypotenuse.
Yep.
Nice to blast a laser.
Not at them, but near them, just as a warning
at humans,
shot.
Yeah. That might be overkill, and also
like I think
you have a political thing to think here. You're in the Verdulan Federation, and you got your lasers by special permission. Are you going to actually be in the news as having shot little puny humans on the ground with those things, visitors as you are?
Aren't they coming to our defense?
Yeah, you have one thing going for you that. Yeah, you have one thing going for you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Go ahead, Tony.
I would like to suggest that if we can scan for their communications frequencies and say, you have one chance to surrender or we're going to blow you away with our ship weaponry. It's a bluff, but they don't know that.
Just blow them away and let Jen take a shot. She's got gunnery. Pop! Take a shot.
But we want to...
It's fun. They turn into little pieces of meat with a beamer.
And the robots would get more information.
Yes. So we don't want to.
Like fucking bite-sized pieces of flesh and guts splattered everywhere.
I think a warning shot would be okay though. Not a hit.
Yeah.
Unless it's a weapon, a vehicle we're hitting.
Yeah. So that's the plan, and just to emphasise the point, fire a shot that's away from them and away from the facility, and said the next turret fires on you, or something like that, and then that way we can hopefully they'll throw down their weapons and surrender. Then we can deal with the one that we. It was just a thought.
The way Captain Durwat makes sort of a diplomatic calculation. You got you got the right to have ship weapons under the fiction that they were like meteorite deflector weapons and things like that, and the Verdulan Federation signed off on that. It might look bad in the news if you try to use it on humans, but a warning shot might not be so bad. And you also figure that you got verbal permission from RUR-12
to use lasers,
to be able to use energy weapons on humans, and the Fredeans are the local government. The overall Federation can't do so much about it because it's you figure it's some kind of distribution of responsibility and so on. They gave you permission, and they're supposed to be responsible for their own defense, and this is a defense situation. So all this goes through your mind in a second, and pretty much as captain, you pretty much decided it'd be okay to go ahead. I don't know if Justin is still there. He's mute. Are you mute, Justin? Muted.
Justin.
I'm kind of here.
Yeah, but that's basically the situation. The government gave you permission to use energy weapons. I don't think it'll stand up in court though, because they didn't say how big the weapons had to be.
No, they didn't. So
big.
you know, it's not our fault that we
I
took them at their word.
figure a ship laser is going to do damage on a human at a ratio about 100 to 1.
So we've got a chance then.
Hand lasers. Okay, but a warning shot is a good idea. If you shoot a warning shot 20 meters in the snow behind them or something like that, it might send a message. So who wants to do the shot? Is it Sai is piloting?
It's either Ved or Astria, because as you said, I'm piloting.
Yeah, but they have to wait for their turn, because I think the next turn is all that Sai can do is pilot. If I can summarize things.
Seeing a laser take out a patch of snow would make them shit their pants.
Exactly.
That's a good plan.
It's just a threat. It's just a threat.
Yeah. Does Sai do anything else other than pilot into position?
The only thing he would do would be to pipe his voice out if the ship has got like loudspeaker capability outside, and follow through with the threat. Just once the Ved or Astria has made the shot, the warning shot.
You flip the switch for the usual ship-to-shore intercom, so you got your external speaker now.
Cool. Well,
and you
I'm waiting for
say
the
a
shot
quick
to
phrase.
I'm waiting for the shot to be taken, and then I'll say, that was your first warning shot. The next one is going to be a lot closer.
Okay. So somebody has to take the shot. You can hold your action on that particular. Well, you're still piloting all the time, but you can hold your action until one of the gunners has actually shot.
All right.
Now, actually,
and I don't think I have
Astria in the order. Sorry, Ronnie.
I don't think I have intimidation, but I think a ship bearing down on them might give me a bonus.
Sorry, I think I've advanced people too long here. Sai, I was after Astria. Wilson is after Sai.
So I'm waiting for Tomo.
Correct one thing here. Yeah, sorry, let me correct one thing here.
Okay.
We were on Sai's turn.
It
was in round 2.
Wilson Ved.
Take the shot, Astria.
Yeah.
Well,
there's Wilson, Ved, Virgil, Brogan. Astria was ahead of Sai, though. Yeah, so if Astria wants to open up with a shot, make a gunner roll to aim 20 meters ahead. I think you with the sensors, you do have a correct view of the heat sources and can miss them deliberately.
Well,
so Jen, make a roll on where it says gunner.
If she fails this roll, does that mean she could have actually hit him?
If there's a big failure, yes.
Now it says here under gunner, it says specialty turret.
So you'd click the button with the 3 stars on it because that's your specialty. That's the usual size of a gun for a starship.
And hopefully you don't launch a
size.
missile or a sand thing.
Stab it.
Oh gosh.
Ooh, okay. Well, it kind of misses, but it still misses the 2 humans. So the point is still made that it's a warning shot. It splats around.
Yeah, it was just the warning
here.
shot, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's sort of beside them rather than behind them, but that doesn't matter too much.
That was a little close, a little scarier though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a hair close.
Especially the guy who was closest to it.
Big gout of steam. Big gout of hot steam shoots out from the ice and snow, mostly ice. And Sai opens up his external loudspeaker, and says,
"That was the only warning shot you're going to get. The next one's going to be a lot closer. Put down your weapons and hold up your hands."
Okay, in Verdulan.
Mm-hmm. And I think I can speak it natively.
Yeah.
Comrades.
Yeah, so it says something like "Tio estis la sola frappo."
Yeah, frappo it, matey. Frappo it.
Hands up is levu la manoin.
Well, manoi away.
Okay, so you say it.
Yep.
Now it's very quick to act, but let me see. Fallen comrade, big laser guns, air raft also floating around, probably closing the distance a little bit more. Whoops. Okay, let me see. Morale roll. No, it's not D&D. Okay, these 2 guys surrender.
Good. Keep your laser tag on them there, Astria.
Yep.
We'll radio to the air raft if they can't see
map.
it, but they probably can. But if they can't see it, they've dropped their weapons and put their hands in the air, so you should be able to come in pretty safe.
I think.
I hope their bomb isn't on a timer.
If they've got one, yeah, because Wilson.
You mean like the
about
packet
to find
of C4 that?
Yeah, Wilson's going to activate when he walks into the room.
You were worried about explosives, sorry, I think Ronnie was looking at explosives, but there didn't seem to be any. You're not close enough to see them now. Do you land the air raft and the ship? Do these ships land or do they stay in the air?
I'm keeping ours in the air.
Yeah, there seems to be a rally of some other robots apart from the inactive robots. Other security robots are making their way, and the cavalry has come in as well, which is a bunch of those Marines.
How nice! Join the picnic.
Yeah, so you're getting an assortment of people.
At the point when we were sitting by the thing, I don't know. It's not my turn yet, but I was hoping to get off the raft and let the raft proceed, so I can actually take the one that I shot and the one that was shot into custody. And if he is wounded, I can first aid him to keep him alive, because I don't want to be accused of murder.
Well, they could just
go
so
it sort of looks like this. I just want to maybe take a. Hang on, let me take a selfie or a screenshot here. What am I doing? Sorry, go ahead and discuss. I'm trying to take a screenshot of this finale.
Well, when I get to Captain Wilson, we'll head up the elevator.
Oh yes, right. Okay, so you can meet up with Captain Wilson. So your tokens are more or less about together. Wherever you can show that, like that.
That's so close, Tomo.
Oh, you two are so friendly.
No, it's not close. It's 10 meter squares. No, they're not close. I'm not trying to start any rumors. People will talk. Like, yeah, if you're that close in 10 meter squares, it's not like people will talk about it. It's not that. I'm just trying to get a screenshot of this action. Anyway, it's all on the video, Steve. You should take a good pan around at the zoom and what happened here. But people are coming up on the ice. One robot, I guess, naturally. Oops, let me just save something here. Oh man, I juggled a whole lot to try to present this game, and thanks for helping me to do the trick to extend the map. Okay, my computer's holding up beautifully. Yeah, so the only other point is that one of these robots is moving up to its fallen comrade. Other robots are moving in slowly here and there like that. Now again, I'm sorry. Can you repeat your answer? Who stays in the air? Who lands?
So I'll keep the ship up in the air, the Steppenwolf's in the air.
Yep. As we hover over the, I get Brogan to lower the thing so I can get out and secure the number 3. This guy.
I would land somewhere near those guys and exit with my shotgun. I put the submachine gun, throw that back behind me, and I got my shotgun out pointed at them.
I don't need
and
that.
I'm going to exit with Virgil.
I'll secure the prisoner. Basically, if he's still alive, I'll check him. If he's still alive,
Number 3 is bleeding out, probably in need of medical aid. First aid has to be administered within a minute.
I think I have medic. Hold on. I think I have medic skill.
But you're part in the
let
air
me
raft.
double check.
We stopped in the air raft.
I landed I do have medic 1.
Right. Check the thing called skill grid, which looks at your skill level plus bonuses to see who's the best one on the spot.
First, I have education. Can I make a medic roll and try to patch him up?
Well,
if he's still alive, you can answer some questions.
Yeah, you spoke up to do it. Let me just see one thing here. Ronnie is also called Phosphor.
Yes.
Brogan has medic
1.
I don't see it on the skill grid though that you have medic 1.
Yeah.
How did I miss
wait
that?
A minute. Do I have medic 0 then? Wait a minute. I do. 0. Look at the skill. Look at the list. I have medic 1. Level 1.
And
I have
Virgil is also there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Virgil has no medic. So sorry, let me check Brogan's sheet then if he's the best placed to do it. Medic.
Yeah, medic 1. I got medic 1.
Okay. Somehow I accidentally didn't show it on the skill grid. But okay, just click on the medic button. Having a first aid, do you have a first aid kit with you though, or would the air raft have one?
I would believe there'd be one on the air raft, yeah, just in case.
Okay, let's make a concession. Yeah, since you knew you'd be in a military situation, you'd lug one of the
ship. In case one of us got hurt, we would
easy.
definitely take the first aid kit. We're going into battle.
The ship itself had 2 medkits. Okay, so roll for first aid. Now in the chapter, okay, first aid is mentioned in there. Damage.
My roll is an 8. My medical roll is 8.
Okay, that's a bare success. If you're looking at the
that's a bare success with no fit. It's not a failure.
First aid. Okay, applying first aid restores a number of characteristic points equals to the effect of a medic check, but a minimum of 1 point. Points restored by first aid are divided as desired. Well, okay, so that does help. But more advanced medical treatment would probably have to be done, like surgery and so on. So
we stopped him from losing damage and gave him like 1 point back. Is that what you're saying?
That's basically it. But it's a way to stabilize things. To do all the spots.
So he's not going to die. If he has any points left, he's not going to die.
No.
We can get Astria to patch him up some more. We got to get these guys in custody and cuffs and find out what the hell they were doing to our robot friends.
Just one other note: some robots are moving in, and they're gathering by this fallen guy, and they're also looking curiously. And as you can, just like you're in communication, whatever one robot here sees, others can see. So they look on your treatment with interest. I think you should get him to to do more extensive surgery, but he is stabilized in a sense with first aid.
Okay, once he's
plugged up.
stabilized and plugged up, I'm going to start searching him for anything he might have taken from the chamber that he broke into. Maybe any identification, weapon, secure his weapons so they're away from the body. So knives, guns,
Okay.
grenades, etc. So he can't off himself. And search for any comms gear, documents.
Little black box with a red button on
it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
So looking at securing the information, securing as much as we can from the from that one guy. Yeah. So what is that? What do I need to do for that, Pierre?
Sorry. Yes, searching.
Searching the body, securing his weapons first. So picking, if he's got a pistol, just take it, toss it off to the side. Knife, etc., grenades, etc. Just removing anything that he can use to either injure myself or anybody else away from him, and then search for like documents, communications equipment, identification, whether he's got dog tags on.
Okay, I think you're well suited to this because Virgil has investigate skill. So that's all the spy stuff, which includes things like concealment, deception, might also have applied. So try making an investigate roll. Okay, I don't hear a beep, but I do see your roll. Okay, again, a roll of 8, effect 0, which is a bare success. Now, I think it's a matter of spending more time on this case because the simple fact is that this guy had a whole lot of junk in his backpack, like climbing gear, and so on.
Spend additional time searching. So if I don't know what modifier will apply to that.
You have some time. Meanwhile, I'm going to say that okay, we're not on round by round anymore, but Captain Durwat and Tomo could easily do the elevator, go up to the domed room where the Mater Noster is. Meanwhile, the Verdulan soldiers are they are going up to the two ones who surrendered over there, and this is interesting. So I'm going to just post this for the camera. Let me just get a screenshot here, move it into place. Just my language fetish here. Bear with me. And let's see if this works. Yeah, it does work if you zoom on that. This is what those Marines are shouting when they're basically saying, by authority of the Verdulan Colonial Marines, you are bound by law. And in Verdulan, it would be la autoritato de la Verdulan Colonia ma soldatoi viestes ligita per legio. The big booming voice.
Hopefully they're talking to them, not us.
They're arresting the two guys in the snow.
Excellent.
So that's that. They were for wherever they were probably quartered in some distant part, and they couldn't get there as fast as you guys. And remember, when you were talking to the guys on who came over to your ship from the Corvette, some of these people didn't seem like green soldiers to the whoever it was, the military character in your group. And some of these are likewise don't seem very skilled or experienced either. But they are arresting the two guys easily with the numbers of people that they have. Meanwhile, if I can jump to Captain Durwat and Tomo,
All right.
just as it's sort of like one of those cut scenes in the movie, just as Virgil found, with his spy skills, he found like a little case with a some sort of memory unit in it, and it looks like some kind of card reader with wires extending from it. Captain Durwat and Tomo arrive and see a Maternoster pretty much as you saw Maternoster before, except that there seem to be wires and connectors and things projecting from her head that seem to have been placed there by hand and weren't there before. So this is sort of a cut scene in the movie, which cuts from one thing
Is
to
there
the
a
other.
broken window into this place?
In the tower, there is like a broken skylight, which is how this guy
He's
somehow
going to need to
crawled
be
in.
examined because he messed with her.
Yep.
Maybe.
That's why she might have her eyes flickering about weapons. They want to take her out.
Well, in the guy's pack, there was a kind of memory cube connected to a wire. It looked like it was not connected to much else. You find like a hand computer on him. So Virgil finds all these things here.
We can radio down and say, hey, Mater Noster's robot has got like someone's attached a bunch of wires into her head, for want of a better word.
Okay, are you broadcasting this to your teammates, or are you also broadcasting it to the robots on their mind?
No, to our teammates.
Your team members only?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So people can see that on whatever their hand viewers. Everybody has at least the technology of a cell phone, so we can do it now. They can do it in the future. But you're not sharing this with the robots. Don't forget, there's a robot over. Well, okay. There's a robot over the dead body viewing you. So I think the robot can see and hear what you're saying in the radio. That's the trouble, isn't it, Virgil? Does Virgil want to say that?
Right, you mean Tomo?
No, I think you've got the knowledge.
Tomo is the one who said it? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't say it.
Okay. Let's see.
Tell her,
I'm going to
Captain. Tell her we're here to save.
Okay, I'm sorry. Tomo said that. Okay, I'm sorry. For me, somehow your voices are similar, but okay. Tomo said that. Virgil heard it on an earpiece, I suppose. The hell robot next to Virgil did not hear it. But I'm going to roll one thing. I'm going to see if Mater Noster is actually broadcasting her consciousness to the other robots or not, because Tomo said this in Mater Noster's presence.
True.
Just out of interest, GM roll. Not really. Perhaps on these robots, you see a little light which lights up when their camera is actually recording something or broadcasting or streaming something. It doesn't seem like you see anything like that on Mater Noster. But Mater Noster is an immobile mass. Maybe she's set up to move sometimes, but not right now. She's sort of a hemisphere on top of a metal slab. Don't know if there's wheels on that, but she's moved, and she seems to say in her ethereal email voice that reverberates in this room. She says, "I'm all right. I feel whole." It's like when Hal 9000 says that his memory is slipping away. Well, she's not saying that her memory is slipping away. She says, "I'm all right. I feel whole. I feel like I've been scanned."
Equipment
Tomo and Durwat hear that, and sorry if I should use.
What are these wires that have been attached to her head, though?
Yeah.
To her
Can
dome?
I make like a
He'd like
computer
to be
check?
examined.
Yeah.
He needs to be examined by a robotics professional.
Are they plugged in?
If Virgil wants to quietly bring up the stuff to the tower where Mater Noster is, if Virgil wants to rejoin Tomo and Wilson,
can we
maybe piece it together and figure it out?
Yeah. So Is that by getting back into the air raft there, can we descend through the hole in the roof?
You can descend close to that hole in the roof, and then somebody would have to step off and go through. It might be a bit of an athleticism involved. The guy was an athletic climber type.
Do I have athlete?
Wouldn't be Ronnie.
No,
okay,
I don't.
And another fancy detail, and I'll come to the close of the game here. Just as you're hearing that, you hear a detonation, but it's not the detonation you think. It's actually, well, it sounds like a blast. It sounds like a sharp sound from cracking ice as a tiny ship in the distance lifts off and shoots up into the sky, way too fast for you. It seems to be going like at 4 Gs.
Can they get? Can our ship get a shot off of it?
We've got 2 people in the gunner seats right now. We're in the air. I think we can get at least 1 shot from each of them before. We might be at really bad odds, but I think they.
I'm going to give a rough thumbnail of what the bad odds are, but
there's
the gunners right now are.
There's 2 Verdulan ships in orbit.
Patrol corvettes, yes. So I'll figure about them too. Let me see. Okay, so who are the gunners right now? Astria
and Ved.
Ved.
Okay,
Oops.
wonderful.
Not here.
I'd like you to make a gunnery starship roll, gunnery, your specialty. So you click the button with the 3 stars, but put in a factor of -4 because the speed and of which this thing is basically added distance. And of course, you're not instantaneous reaction to this. You heard a cracking ice sound, a ship taking off, but they don't use rockets in the future. They just grab off and lift off fairly silently. But there's a whooshing air. The guy's going so fast that he's creating like a tornado spiral of air behind him as he leaves, as the air rushes back in.
What, me?
Yep.
Yeah, you can make a gunnery roll.
Nice and high.
Laser.
Nice and high.
9.
Not high enough.
Well, that's good. Okay, let me just see, and I'm trying to figure out the starship rules here. And you get to roll. Well, you get to roll damage. What's the damage on a laser shot to a starship?
I don't know.
Let me see. And
the other thing,
I have to switch gears.
Has any of our sensors detected the kind of ship as well? Because that may give us a bit of information who these guys are.
Can't. I'm piloting. Astra's is fighting, is shooting the thing. She's either her or I are the sensor person, but we can't do both at once.
Yeah. Does the ship have any automatic sensors or anything like that that would detect?
Don't know. You'd have to ask.
It can lock in since you're in a gunnery mode. It might lock into things.
Okay.
So, well, first of all, I'd like a shot from the other gunner. Again, the same roll.
I don't know what Zed's gunnery score is and what his specialty is.
You got to roll that here.
Okay, he's not here. Right.
Just
Let me just do that for fun.
See what happens. Give him the penalty.
And I may have to leave the question of what the patrol corvettes can do to maybe next session, but it's something's happening out in space anyway. Gunner, here's a gunner shot, but I'm doing it at -4.
No.
-4 is steep.
Sorry?
Yeah, unsuccessful. It's just because of the relative speed and the distance before you can react. But there is a sensor fix that's possible.
Okay. Well, I'm up there in the cockpit, so I'll try. What do I get to roll? I've got, where's my sensors? Sensor skill.
Make a sensors roll, I would say, at -1 because of the factor, or maybe a delay in locking into this new.
Can't you just off after him too, try to lock onto him? Lock on the target? I mean, we go 2G, right? It's still something.
You're far trader, you're 1G. That's we discussed that before.
We're 1G. Shit, that's
far trader, 1G.
We're not catching him.
Okay, so -1.
He's going at 4G. We ain't catching him.
That's a big disadvantage, 1G. Maybe if you do
Yeah,
extensive
1G's
modifications to your engines, you can improve that. Okay, and I'm sorry, I try a sensor roll. Okay.
I got an 8.
Okay.
Might get something,
Well,
but not much.
You have a track. You know that it shot up at 4G.
Right. So it's a powerful ship.
Yeah.
Do we get a resolution of its shape?
Yeah, you get a shape, and it's only I would say it's something that is only 50 tons. It looks like an intersystem shuttle. It seems to be built for speed. You get a shape out of it. It looks like a non-standard Verdulan design. It doesn't fit your databases of frontier designs
50-ton
or known
4G ship.
Verdulan things. Yeah,
Small
but it is
craft.
4G.
And we've got a rough profile of the shape of it. So once we can compare databases, we might have a bit of understanding about what they actually used.
Yeah, and as to Astria's hit, I think you can tell that it the laser did hit it physically. You can't really tell from all this commotion what the damage is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 50-ton system ship of some sort, non-standard design, made to be 4G, or at least that's the acceleration you see. It's making a huge commotion and a sort of whirlwind off the surface, because you don't accelerate that fast, unless it's an emergency. You disrupt the air.
The G's they're experiencing in that ship are going to be hideous.
No, grav plates cancel that out.
Okay.
Okay, so they're gone. I'm going to have to leave the question open as to whether the patrol corvettes of the Verdulan Colonial Marines intercept or not. You'll probably find that out next session. And does anybody else have any other thoughts or business as characters? The characters want to try anything else? We have just a few minutes left.
Do I find what else do I find? Can you give me, well, even if you just email it to me later or send a message
What
to
you
me later?
find in the pack?
Yeah, what I find on the pack, what he's on himself, what his weapons are, because that may be a clue as to who he might be. If he has any like dog tags or anything like that, any other documentation that he might have, like a wallet, if he's stupid enough to carry a wallet. So I just want to try and find out who this guy is, where he's, and also what the electronic stuff that he's taken. The stuff he's used to attack. Manter. So what he's actually potentially done to Manter, because I'll use.
All right. Well, I'll tell you very quickly now. Okay. I'll tell you very quickly the big things you can find. So there's big obvious things you find. There's other things that you'd have to analyze in more detail. So I'll report that in the next session for you. But physically, he's got flak jacket armor with reflect armor, which is why he was he partly resisted the laser shot, but the laser shot was too good. He has a laser rifle as a weapon, a snub pistol as a weapon, and he has some kind of electromagnetic weapon that fires round balls. It looks like a nasty weapon against a robot because it's sort of acts like a Leyden jar. A Leyden jar stores charge, and then when you hit a robot or a surface, the inner and the outer part of the Leyden jar sort of bullet strike, and it discharges electronically, and of course it creates an electromagnetic pulse that can disable a robot, perhaps temporarily. So it's some sort of a nasty weapon deliberately designed to immobilize robots. EMP. It's exactly what the robot Fredeans don't want, as far as illegal weapons.
Is it potentially?
So those are the.
Is it any of these weapons, the manufacturers or anything like that? If it's non-Verdulan or if it is Verdulan, can we determine who manufactures them? Because that may, say One World uses I know, say, say Arasaka weapons, but then another area might use
Yeah.
Wheedly beedly.
Well,
Lewis
there's
Tools
one part of
weapons.
the weapon. If you examine it carefully, it's not labeled. It doesn't have controls or anything labeled in either Verdulan or English. It has one little piece of the casing. Now the casing is actually mostly plastic. The projectiles are metal things, and you probably think not to touch them because they're probably storing a capacitive charge that is a huge, shocking charge. You don't want to touch the ammunition yet, but it's nothing that clearly shows what the source or manufacturer is, except that there is a part filed off that maybe will say it. So you'd have to take it maybe to a gun specialist around here, a local person. I mean, a Verdulan person. Okay. Now, does any other character want to do anything for the moment? Because
No.
I think this is a
I'll
good
just
place
land
to
the ship.
conclude.
Yeah, it's almost
Okay.
midnight, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we can
Okay.
stop the recording.
Yeah.
Recording is